It is Elimination Wednesday for the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs, and what venue better than the track that's too tough to tame? The Lady in Black is who will be determining the 8 drivers moving on in this title fight. And 250 laps around the historically famed Darlington Raceway is coming up next on Pit Stop TV. Good evening, all, and welcome to the virtual Darlington, South Carolina. Devin Zimmerman joins me alongside for the call this evening, and Devin, this track seems like a perfect test to figure out which drivers will advance to the next round of the playoffs. A proper assessment of drivers' physical and mental endurance.
Yes, sir, definitely, Emerson. This track will take the best out of any driver. You can fully expect to see multiple drivers getting the famed Darlington stripe, which is famed for getting off of turn number 2 and also turn number 4 here. I fully expect we'll see a lot of the black scrapes down the right side of these race cars when we're done tonight. And of course, with the 8 drivers moving on in the playoffs as well, I can't think of a more appropriate test for these drivers to have for an elimination round.
Absolutely, and I do want to thank Devin Zimmerman for coming in and joining us, even if it's for a 1 week. He has prior commitments most Wednesdays, but this Wednesday he's able to join me and fill in this evening. And a perfect race, I say. The Elimination Wednesday, that we take the 12 drivers that are currently in playoff competition and we trim it down to 8. Once again, shout out to Devin Zimmerman. I am Emerson Arn, and we're here at the beautiful Darlington Raceway. And here we go, Devin. We can take a look at this fantastic racetrack. It is very tight. It's technical. It's tough. It's fast. And these drivers, they're going to absolutely be on it. There's so many aspects to look at. When you look at a high-speed entry into turn 1, almost a really heavy braking point entering turn 3, pit lane entry and exit, very, very difficult. And oh, by the way, there's a wall waiting for you on all ends of the speedway.
There is, and as you look at this track, the egg-shaped famous oval of Darlington Raceway, turns 1 and 2, like you said, Emerson, it is very, very interesting getting into these turns. Very high-speed entry into turn 1. Pretty much want to put the car almost on the apron here in turn 1, and then it's going to kind of diamond that turn. In the center of the turn, you'll wash up, and then coming off of turn 2, it is a very, very dicey getting off there. You want to be very low so you cannot stay off that wall. If you exit turn 2 high, more than likely you will be in the wall. It's just the way and the nature of this track. So you got to exit turn 2 low. Turn 3, a heavy braking zone, as there's a lot of speed coming off turn 2. And so turn 3, a heavy braking zone. We're going to see a lot of guys choosing 2 lanes through this turn. You can either be right up against the wall, or you can be down on that white line where the apron is. And you know, it's kind of a food for thought how you set up the car, how you want to drive this track. We'll see kind of a different line here, but I fully expect that top side will probably be the end up being the way drivers want to go through 3 and 4. And it's going to make for some very hard passing. This is almost a 1-lane track. If you can get to the inside of someone entering turn 1, the guy on the outside pretty much has to let you have it. Same with turn 3 and 4, you can put up a fight on the outside, so the guy on the inside might have to let you just have it. So again, a very technical track, very difficult to pass. You pretty much want to get out front, stay out front. And yeah, you saw the lap times there. Will Black holds the fastest qualifying iRace lap time there, 27.950. So pretty fast track this is at Darlington.
Absolutely, and that was, of course, in the open setup for the Mustang. These drivers, they're about a second off that pace, to be completely honest. But, again, they're completely different track times. We are looking to start going towards nighttime here, Devin, so the track is going to get cooler. That means the grip is going to come up, and it's going to get tighter. By the way, nighttime is the right time, because it is game time for these drivers. Take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Seth Fitzpatrick, Jonathan Jennings, they are in. Seth Fitzpatrick won at USA. He's in. Jonathan Jennings believe he was 78 points above the cut line. He is in pretty much no matter what. He didn't even have to show up tonight, theoretically, and he would still make the next round of the playoffs. Now you're looking at drivers who are very much in right now and look to be all but in. It's just if something catastrophic happens and worst case scenario kind of days happen, these drivers could be in trouble, but they're looking pretty safe for right now. Seth Berger 50 points above the cut line. Max Service 44. Adrian Schumacher 40. 3, 4, and 4 wins apiece for those drivers. Now we're getting into a little bit of the more chaotic side of the points here, Devin.
Yeah, once you get down towards where Jeremiah Stutzman, Jacob Reeves, and Scott Bailey are, that's when you're in the danger zone. You really have to have a good race here tonight. Stutzman a little bit better off, plus 22. Reeves and Bailey plus 9 and plus 6, respectively. They've really got to be on it, especially at these stages. Get all the points they can. And then if you are outside of that cut line, Andrew St. Cour 6 out, Adam Gardner 21 out, Devin Smith 25 out, and Matt Rogers 32 out. These are the pretty much, you got to take all the points you can. If you're Devin Smith or Matt Rogers, you pretty much want to have to get this win. So you're going to do anything and everything to get the win to automatically qualify you. So that's got to be your game plan going into this race. Get to the end, get this win, and move forward. If you're Andrew St. Cour, you can hope some of the guys in front of you have some troubles and you're able to stay out of trouble today. As Darlington suggests, you know, there could be quite a few drivers that have troubles, so you just don't want to be one of them.
Absolutely brilliant assessment on the situation there, Devin. Completely agree. Yes, we're looking at more than likely, it's not mathematically that they have to, but Adam Gardner, Devin Smith, Matt Rogers, theoretically, they are in must-win situations. There's only 20 drivers entered into tonight's race. They more than likely have to win to make the next round of playoffs. Andrew St. Cour is the only one realistically, not mathematically, just realistically, that could point his way in, and he is currently 5th on the practice charts, and the person in 6th is Jacob Reeves. The person in 8th is Scott Bailey, so he has the upper hand coming into today's race. It's going to boil down to where do these drivers end up with stage points, who can stay out of trouble, and then who's going to be around at the end of the race. And then, by the way, there is a huge Swift Racing presence at the top of the practice charts. Those drivers who are green but not locked in, and Seth Berger, Max Harris, and Adrian Schumacher, they are trying to just lock themselves in by the drop of the green flag, as they are 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in practice. So that is a look at the point standings coming into today's race. We can take a look at the schedule, just kind of see how we got here, but there's not too much more left to talk about. We've gone through the first 26, and then round 1 with the dual road course in Milwaukee. Now we're at the end of round 2 with the short track USA, the Super Speedway Talladega, and now of a track that is too tough to tame. It was basically NASCAR's first super speedway, and that's what Darlington Raceway is, a NASCAR tradition. Now we look forward. Once we get through tonight's race, we have a pretty chaotic round 3 in a little bit of normalcy with Homestead Miami, but these cars are very tough to drive. Some drivers have described it as driving on ice at Homestead Miami Speedway. Very difficult conditions there. The Atlanta Super Speedway, I'm going to call it, even though it is still called the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's a mile and a half. These drivers, there's going to be more of a pack racing mentality and a lot more unpredictability. And then chaos is bound to happen at North Wilkesboro. Very tight, short track. And still have the old guardrails and concrete walls there as well. A very bumpy track. North Wilkesboro is sure to excite, as that will be the final elimination Wednesday of the season in 3 weeks' time. Then we'll take the week off for Thanksgiving, giving the championship for another week to prepare for the Richmond Raceway season finale. Devin, what do you make of tonight and the next 4 races?
Yeah, the next round, it doesn't get any easier. Like you said, Homestead Miami, a track notorious for being a top lane only track. You really got to make up positions at the get-go. Atlanta is going to be a free-for-all, kind of like how Talladega was. Anyone can win there, just a matter of being there at the end. North Wilkesboro, a track that we really haven't run much on these cars. the next gen cars. It came out when the Gen 6 were still available, and the next gens haven't gone there too much. So a relatively newer track, but NASCAR is going there next year, so we're going to beat them to the punch and have it as an elimination round. That should be interesting. Short track racing to get to the championship four. It's only going to get exciting from here on out, and I know that the first two rounds of this playoff have been nothing but exciting, especially last week at Talladega with that last lap wreck leading to an unsuspected winner for Jason Miz. Yeah, getting an unsuspected win there. But yeah, just anything can happen from here on out, and I'm sure it will.
Absolutely. And so to start wrapping up practice, we still have looks like 6.5 minutes left in practice, but let's look at it. Like I said, a heavy Swift presence at the top of the practice charts. Julio Villalobos just jumped into what was going to be my next point, and I just saw Scott Bailey on the practice charts. He went from 8th to what was 6th, right behind Andrew St. Cour. Now Julio Villalobos has decided he's going to make an appearance up there as well. And it's also throwback week, Devin, so I can't wait to see what kind of paints we got out on the track. I've been privy to Noah Kupla. I know we're gonna be in for a treat on what these drivers have brought to the track for ourselves this evening. Let's go and start looking around the track and see who we've got. We got Seth Berger and a nice little throwback there. I think that's more of a personal throwback, and it looks good. A 777 on that machine. Julio Villalobos, if he's done it right. I don't believe it's on, or you might have to check back with that, but he was supposed to have a nice little throwback to himself. And where was Jeremiah Stutson? There it is. That's what I've been ready for. A Mark Martin Valvoline throwback, and look at him. He was right on cue. He's ready to get out onto the track. He's showing this bad boy off.
Yeah, that's a good looking old Mark Martin scheme. Really like that one when it was raced. It looks like one of the 90s paint schemes that he used to run here, maybe late 80s, early 90s.
Yep. And so that's what Jeremiah Stutzman is running. I'm sure there's a few other throwbacks out there for us to dive into this evening, and we'll surely keep an eye on those. But Devin, looking at the practice charts, is there anyone who catches your eye? Anyone you think you would want to talk to before this Elimination Wednesday race?
Oh, we got to talk to the guy who's trying to fight his way in here and can point himself in, possibly Andrew St. Cour, if he is available. That's got to be one of the guys we picked the brain with, sitting up there in the top 5 in points. Andrew St. Cour, you're really close on the bubble, man. You got to do some point hunting tonight. How are you feeling about Darlington?
Well, I do like Darlington. We'll just see what happens. I'm probably not going to be pushing too hard early, especially early. Try to save my stuff, but I really got to keep an eye on those stages too, especially where I know who I'm chasing. I mean, if those guys are running in the top 10 at the stage breaks, I mean, that's going to pretty well kill me. So if I'm not up there with them, especially, so I'll have to try to save my stuff. A lot of fall off, but I do feel I got a good setup, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, looking good there. And that Ryan Blaney throwback to this season, really like that's one of my favorite paint
is that what you call it, a throwback to this season?
Yeah, a throwback to this season. I'll just
it's
call
fun.
it
It's funny, guys. I did try to put a scheme in, but it didn't work, and I don't know why. So I don't know if it was a trading paints issue or it was me, but anyway.
That's fine. That's my favorite scheme you got on that car right now. So
hopefully it brings you some luck.
I hope so. I mean, you're so close. You've been fighting in tooth and nail all season long, and we get to a track that you like here. Have you, practiced a lot for this track coming up? I know that there have been some tough tracks in this round and the previous round, but is this one that you've been dedicating a lot of time to?
Unfortunately, I haven't really had the time to put much time into it. The good news is nothing's really changed in the builds since the Open and NIS here, and I was fairly successful that week with this set. So a few tweaks due to track temps and whatnot, but for the most part, I am fairly comfortable here. So we'll just see if that translates to a good finish and some stage points, which will be important.
Right, and just one more question before we let you get back to it, but yeah, you mentioned those tweaks and everything. We are transitioning into a nighttime race. Is that going to have any impact on, how the car handles throughout this race?
Oh yeah, I expect it to get tighter. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments, definitely at the pit stops, and stay on top of it. If we're not on top of it, it's not going to work out. So because everybody else is going to be on it. So definitely going to have to stay on top of the adjustments during the pits.
Sounds good. We'll let you get back to it and finish up practicing. Good luck tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you here at the end at a track that you like.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that was driver of the number 12, Andrew St. Court. The driver I'd like to talk to is on the other side of the cut line, on the plus side, driver of the number 11, Scott Bailey. First of all, Scott, are you there?
Yes, sir.
There. And then Scott, it is looking very competitive on the practice charts. You are in right now into the next round of playoffs, but it is by very slim 6 points over the cut line. How are you feeling? What's your game plan tonight?
Well, I'm definitely not confident. It's going to be a tough race, really long race. So it's just going to be who can be consistent over a long period of time. I've definitely got to go for stage points. Kind of put myself in a hole after last week, making one of the dumbest errors of the year for me. So that put me in a hole for this week, and now I just gotta be consistent and dig myself out.
So I know it's a very slim margin, but you are in. How aggressive are you going to play, say, the stages? Are you going to be pushing as hard as you can for every point, or are you going to just try to salvage your stuff and hopefully be at the end and have that be enough?
Yeah, I mean, it might change based on where I'm running with around who I'm running. Obviously I'm going to have my eye on the 12 and where he's running, because that's going to be my closest competition on the cut line. So if I'm ahead of him, I'm really not going to push it. As long as I stay right there with him, a spot behind him, right in front of him, somewhere right around him. That's what I need to do for the stages. And then, like I said, just be consistent.
Right on. And then I didn't see, because we were in the process of resetting paints. Did you bring a throwback to the track? You did what you're running?
No, I didn't. I'm running just the same one I ran the past couple weeks. I've actually been out of town for work for the past 4 days, so just got back in today. Didn't have time to put one together.
Fair enough. All right, Scott. Well, best luck to you this evening as you try to make your way into the next round of playoffs, and hopefully we'll talk to you a little later on.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Right there, that is driver of the number 11, Scott Bailey. And Devin, we are now into qualifying. It is time to see who will take to the track, and here we go. We got Jonathan Jennings and his brother Kevin Powell taking to the track. Here is Jonathan Jennings, not the throwback, I guess, because this is a current scheme, but it is a shout out to, I'm assuming, the Scott Dixon livery in IndyCar.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like the Scott Dixon IndyCar, but paying back to a multiple champion in IndyCar, not a bad one to throw out to, as he's trying to become a champion himself here in the Outlaws Sim Series, as he is starting his first time lap of the evening. And you can kind of see how these lines are running up in the track here in 3 and 4, and then when he gets to 1 and 2, right up against the wall there, coming off of 4, and then 1 and 2, you'll see him dive it down low, and it's going to diamond off. So right down to the apron, it slides up the track just naturally right up to the wall, and then you're going to see him diamond it off just to be able to stay out of the wall off of 2. So close. See, I mean, that's how you have to run the track. You're on the edge the whole time.
That's what I love about it, Devin. For me personally, the Xfinity car really tickles my fancy here. I don't know why. I guess I can just sling that bad boy around here a little bit more. But even in the Gen 6 car, you could really kind of floor it through 1 and 2, but even in that car, though, you would clip a little bit more apron. So I wonder if that has changed because of this next gen car for lower floor clearance, that you can't clip the apron as much or the way you would in a Gen 6 car.
I believe it will bottom out just a bit with the flat floor on this new next gen car. It doesn't really like that elevation change that happens between the apron and the actual racing surface. So as we see Jennings set the fastest lap time there, but yeah, I think it's just that this new car just not liking that abrasive change in banking, and it just throws the balance of the car off getting into the turn.
Here we go. One of those drivers above the cut line, and Scott Bailey. He is 6 points above the cut line. We just heard from him. He is running that same paint splatter paint scheme for Rogers Race Wraps, and is looking to put that number 11 into the next round of the playoffs. And starting his second timed lap, because he just went 5th quickest after 1. Coming off of turn 4, he's not flirting with the wall as much as we saw Jennings, but he did say, you know, he hadn't had that much time on the sim as of recently. So Scott Bailey still trying to get back into the groove of things, and up to 3rd with that second lap, and see what he can do now. That looked like a little bit more speed carry through turn 2.
Yeah, the rear end stepped out just a hair there on him.
The 3, oh, he's gonna put it in the wall, and I believe that will invalidate the lap. He's gonna give her a go, see if it counts into the line. It does not count. So now the other side of the coin, the 12 of Andrew St. Cure in his advanced auto parts machine. Throwback to this season. I like it, Devin. He's getting after it.
Yeah, he is, as we're going to see him go down into 3 and 4, I believe this is. He kind of runs the middle, lets it drift up high, and then kind of runs it low off. That's an interesting line through 3 and 4 that I haven't seen many guys take before. See if it pays off at the line here.
Oh, that lap will put him second quickest. Oh,
very
baby.
close. Hey, I mean, if it works, go with it.
Yes, sir. Jacob Reeves, one of those drivers right above the cut line. He has 9 points to the good coming into today's race. Needs a good run today, and that's not going to help. But he's gone second quickest.
Yeah, his second lap was second quickest. This lap will be invalidated with that hit, and that is what I was talking about off turn 2. We're going to see that quite a bit, I think, throughout the night, these guys pushing it off of that turn. You feel like you can carry so much speed, which you can if you just nail the line correctly, but you just have to do it correctly. As we see Max Service there, set a time. Now we're on with previous champion, former champion of the Outlaws Sim Series, Seth Berger, as he starts his first time lap. He actually got a little bit of the apron there, Emerson, as you were saying before.
And I think that's some tendencies from years past, right? You would run that. He won this race in the Xfinity car in season 1, so he has a little bit of that to back off or to lean back on. He was actually in a battle with Max Service for this race win back in season 1. And to the line, his first timed lap will put him 7th quickest for the 7:77 this evening.
That's one of the faster first laps that we've seen put on the board. The second lap is the one that's going to be the make or break, I do believe. We'll see what he does this time as he got off of turn 2 great, entering turn 3. He's doing a similar line to Andrew St. Cure that I saw. Enters high and then dives it off low. We'll see what happens when he comes to the line.
It's quicker, puts him 4th. He's going to give her a go on the 3rd lap. Adrian Schumacher, he's on his 2nd lap now, but his lap was not valid.
Yeah, and Seth got all his money's worth on the exit of turn 2 there. Almost stepped out on it, able to hold it and get a lot of speed down the back straightaway. Again, right up to the wall off of turn 4, and his final lap
It will be slower.
So that little bobble off of 2.
The 9th quickest on his 2nd lap, and now on his 3rd. Adrian did get top of the charts at one point during the practice session. Max Service ended up winning practice, but Schumacher was leading it for a good bit. He's trying to back that up.
He is. He does that line that we always see through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. He runs high all the way around 3 and 4.
And it's faster, but not fast enough to improve.
And I think that was his last lap. Now it's Jeremiah Stutzman.
Yep, Stutzman, he is 22 above the cut line. Double check. I believe that is true, though. So he is, yes, he is 22 above the cut line. He is one of the more safer ones, but is not safe, and especially if a winner happens from below the cut line, Stutzman is gonna want to get more cushion towards his name, and that is a lap 4 seconds off the pace. That I imagine was just his warm-up lap.
Yeah, I think that first lap was his warm-up lap, knowing that the tires needed to come in. He pushed it really hard here. Got very close to the wall in center of 1 and 2. 3 and 4 runs that middle lane. Dives it off low. Let's see what he gets here off the line.
We got 302, 11 quickest, so one more go-round for Stutzman. He's going to
that's
pop
the
the wall.
wall.
That'll do it for Jeremiah Stutzman. What a try, though. And he can still get after it, but I don't believe the time will count.
Maybe just trying to get more picks. Oh, that's a big
Oh,
scrape that time.
That one will invalidate the lap, but the first one didn't. So that'll be doing it for qualifying. I don't see anyone else taking to the track, and in about 10 seconds, people won't have even the opportunity to set one timed lap. And a minute left in qualifying. Nobody else on the track, Devin. I think it'll be safe to say that Jennings has secured a pole award.
Yes, Jonathan Jennings, it looks like, has secured the Pratt Talon Stone Pole Award. Pratt Talon Stone doing business for Central Vermont since 2005. Congratulations to Jonathan Jennings. Great lap he put in. We were actually on board with very, very good good line that he's running there. A little different than what we've seen normally to be fast around here at Darlington. But I do think, if it's working, you got to use it. So just do what the car wants to do here around Darlington. You don't want to do anything it doesn't want to do, or you will end up kissing that wall a few times.
Absolutely. And we are getting ready to do battle this evening at the track that is too tough to tame. The Lady in Black, NASCAR's first super speedway, NASCAR's first speedway, and a NASCAR tradition, the Darlington Raceway, and all of its many names, home of the Southern 500 and all that good stuff. The session is ticking over. We are getting ready to get to our starting lineup this evening, and we should have it, and here we go. We will be coming down for our starting lineup, and on the front row, it'll be that is incorrect. It is not populated there. Well, we can go ahead and just do it the old-fashioned way, and I'd imagine from the drivers and the way they are lining up. So, there's your starting lineup on the left side of your screen, but it'll be Jonathan Jennings for row number 1, Jacob Reeves there in alongside. Row 2, it'll be a driver coming in below the cut line this evening and needing a good run tonight in Andrew St. Cour. He is starting 3rd. Seth Berger will start 4th. 5th will be the 93 of Kevin Powell, and to his outside will be the 81 of Max Service and the Starcom throwback for Landon Castle. There in row number 4, we'll find the 11 of Scott Bailey, and alongside of him will be the 45 of Julio Villalobos. Row number 5, it'll be the 82 of Adrian Schumacher. Alongside of him will be the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, then on road number 6, we're going to see Jeremiah Stutzman. To his outside, Matthew Setzer. And then in row number, I believe that's row number 7, it's going to be Doug Solms and Devin Smith. He's a little messed up now.
I guess
94 is actually in that spot.
Be Matthew
so that'd
Byers.
be Matthew Byers. And to his outside, I believe that is Tyler Markle. The next row is going to be the 63 of Randall Barnett. And to his outside, I can't see that number, but number 58 or 56. Sorry, that's Adam Gardner. Next row, we'll see Devin Smith on the outside. The inside has yet to grid. I believe this is going to be Eric Peck.
Yep.
On the inside there. Then the final row, we'll see the 96 of Matt Rogers and the 67 of Doug Solms.
So we made it work. A little bit of confusion there, trying to get things populated, but we are getting ready to get to racing this evening, Devin. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weather for tonight's race. Very cool track temp. Max there told me that this track coming into the practice session was already cooler than he anticipated, and it's dropped even a few more degrees. We're now down to 72 degrees. The track temp, air temp, 69 degrees. Winds pretty calm at 3 miles an hour out of the southwest. This evening, the stages where the top 10 will be awarded stage points regardless of session state. Completion of lap 50 and a completion of lap 113 for tonight's 250 lap affair. Quick shout out to all of our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Media, SimCam, SitMap Market, and Permanent Makeup and Cryo Main. And as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane, we turn our attention to the field that's in the hands of Jonathan Jennings, and we await the green flag to fly from Barney to Flagman, our starter this evening. And we are green from the Lady in Black. Oh, we got a car in the wall. That's Adrian Schumacher, hard into the outside wall.
It looks like he diamond off the turn. A guy had a run on him, and they just came together. Green flag is still out. He misses the pit entry. Toe link is completely broken on the right side of that car. He's going to have to drive it all the way back around.
And Devin, this is one of those things. When you talk about worst case scenario, even though Adrian Schumacher looked pretty safe coming into today's race, at the moment it's looking pretty grim. Stage points look to start becoming out of the question. He's going to have to stay in this race and fight through. It's going to be a bad and boring race for Adrian, but he's probably going to have to sit there, get that car repaired, and then pick up the scraps from people who fall out of the race later.
Yeah, he definitely is. As you see him, he's getting it wore down pretty good now. About to go a lap down. But, yeah, he's going to have to stick in there. Only 20 drivers in the race, but every point's going to count for him, especially at the end of this thing. So he needs to stay in it and try and get as best of a finishing position as he can. As you see the field coming around now, 2 by 2 coming off of turn number 4. That's Berger on the inside of Reeves. And those two have a history.
It's actually more or less Max and Jacob Reeves, but Seth will make easy work of Reeves. And Reeves actually looks for the crossover, trying to get down there. Also, important to note, Andrew St. Coeur is up here. No! Right in front of him is Jacob Reeves jumping up in front, hitting off the nose of the 12, and now that allows Max Service to get to the inside, and we've got a battle in the household there for 4th.
Yeah, St. Coeur riding around the top side there. Looks like Reeves' car just did not agree with the bottom of the racetrack entering turn 3, and it just slid on him. And he's bobbling off of turn number 2 now. That 22 car does not look all there right now at the beginning of this run.
Looking back at Jacob Reeves, looking at now the oncoming Andrew St. Coeur. Andrew looked like he was going to have a good run. He had to check up for the contact, and we'll go at it again. Kevin Powell really getting friendly with that outside wall. He is the car behind Andrew St. Coeur. And now we're getting into classic Darlington, where maybe it might not be the most exciting, but we get to see these drivers fight with tire degradation and fight with the car and fight with themselves when it comes to the mental aspect of tonight. And it starts right now. And, you know, that first contact with Reeves and St. Coeur, how does St. Coeur respond? Does he, attempt to retaliate? Does he just push it past? Does he, try to keep going? Does he just let Jacob Reeves sit in front? What happens now is a big thing to look at, and what could dictate what goes on the rest of the night.
Well, it does look like Reeves' car is handling a little bit better. He's starting to run that inside line through 3 and 4. Pulled away from the 12 just a bit, but the 12 starting to come back to him just a hair. Now as we see a battle here, Setzer has to get out of the gas as the door shut on him from the 11 of Scott Bailey, who sees and knows that that 12 car is up in front of him in 4th right now. Can't be too comfortable with that positioning as he's sitting back here in 9th.
Yep, I was gonna say, think about if the stages were to end like this, all of a sudden Andrew St. Cyr becomes a 4 points to the good, and that's without even finishing the race. So Scott Bailey, who just got passed by his teammate in Seth Fitzpatrick, he has got to start picking up the pace here, because he is going to put himself in the danger zone if he does not look forward soon. Also, you still have Andrew St. Cyr looking at 3rd. And right there, if he's to get 3rd, he can make up the entire deficit between himself and Scott Bailey in one stage.
Yeah, and the thing is I mean, he doesn't look like he's pushing the car too terribly right now. He's got some pressure behind from the 93. Oh, got in the rear of him there. But
now, these
yeah,
two have history.
Yeah,
Kevin Powell and Max Service.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like as Max Service had to get out of the gas and Julio gets underneath of him. Max going to let him go there and try and get a run, and then the 2 is going to try and go with him. Ooh,
oh, my apologies.
Contact there, possible.
I called it wrong. That is Julio Villalobos' throwback. It is a throwback to the car that he has driven in person. This is the paint that he ran on his V8 debut, which I'd imagine is he is trying to climb the ladder along with his father, who has raced in Mexico. His father, of course, raced in the NASCAR Peak Mexico Series, and Julio Villalobos, I imagine, is trying to climb up that same ladder. So Villalobos, you know, bringing that paint to life there, and pretty nice. I like the nice rainbow stripes going up across the entire car, the black and white mesh as well. Pretty nice car under the lights here at Darlington.
Yeah, and as we're getting into this run, we're now about 12 laps in. You're going to start seeing these guys who saved a little bit start to fight back. And then the guys who didn't save and kind of running their cars.
Villalobos got sideways.
Yeah, Villalobos is not happy off of turn 4. He's done that twice in a row now. But what I was saying is you're starting to see these guys who kind of saved a little bit. Seth Berger fighting for the lead, and then also back in 3rd place. That battle is ramping up as well.
Jennings, he's going to let him go. So new leader, Seth Berger, to the lead in his Uptown Garage throwback paint. 777s on the side, and feeling pretty lucky with that one. Jennings, understandably, he's into the next round of the playoffs. Just let him by. He'll let this fight go on. It's a 250-lap race. It's a long one.
I was thinking it's a long race tonight, and he knows that Seth is on it right now. Seth Berger's machine looks to be one of the best cars on the track, and so he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to fight you. I need to run my race. I'll just let you go. So pretty smart move, I would think, there from Jennings at the moment.
Julio Villalobos now looking at Kevin Powell, trying to get down to the inside. Very difficult to do. Running on board.
Yeah, Powell was up there with the 12 car and the 22 car earlier. He fell off a little bit, had to get out of the gas. I think he had a moment off of turn 4, and that's put him into the clutches of the 45 here. 45 gets a great exit off of 4. Oh, and caution is out.
Looks like race now the caution does come out. You are right. And Gardner and Max Service has had an issue and has left the race. Imagine this.
I saw that live.
So here we go. We do have the replay.
This is not a good one.
Max Service battling it out with Scott Bailey into the corner. Max drives up, and Scott Bailey gets to the back of him.
Yeah, and then just hold it here for a second. You're going to see why Max Service's night is done.
Oh, no, Matt Rogers. And that is a helpless feeling when you are up there. The spin itself, while the contact maybe is a little questionable, wasn't too bad. It's when you're sitting there and you have no choice but to just watch a car come at you. That is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, and you're also, on the service on this sim. The biggest thing that everybody says is hold the brakes. If you're up on the top, hold the brakes, hold the brakes, and that's exactly what Max does. But then Matt Rogers
There
just
is
comes.
so much time.
Yeah, there's a lot of time, and he just didn't move from his line. So,
I don't
Max
know where
did
the
it.
caution was called. I don't know if the caution was called with the 81 going around or the 96 hitting him. But
It was called with the 12 go or the 81 going around.
so the caution's out. There is no need to still be pushing. He hits the wall.
Oh, he's riding the wall, but he still could have slowed down. I think I would have slowed down at that point.
He was never on. He was just lifting off the gas, but he wasn't really on the brakes. That is, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for both. I think both drivers are out of the race. Both drivers with engine damage, understandably, after that major hit. And we'll get a on board from Scott Bailey here. Again, Scott pushing because he knows that the 12's up in front of him.
Sure.
And so he's pushing here, sees the chance, and it just it's a narrow track.
It's a narrow track. It's an aggressive move, but I see the move now. He was trying to go to the inside of Max there, and just got a little tight.
Not enough. Yeah, just got a little tight, and that's bound to happen here, especially in turn 3 and 4. That's where you got to make the move if you can make it, or off of 4, like we saw Julio Villalobos get that nice run off of turn 4. Those are where you got to make your move, and he tried to take the move there, and it just did not pan out for Max, unfortunately. Max hoping that what he has right now will get him through, as again he has backed out of the race.
Yeah, so Max, he is below his magic number. His magic number in a worst case scenario, which means a driver below the cut line wins and say like 8th place in points, max points. Tonight's race, Max service is below that magic number. His magic number was 15th. So right now he is one spot below that. But that's also, again, he has a good cushion, and it's worst case scenario that knocks out Max service tonight. It's not impossible, but I believe he's on the thought process that it's probably going to be unlikely. Another important thing to note is in a scenario where there is a repeat winner, or the winner comes from the top 8 in the points, or a playoff ineligible driver wins tonight, so Jeremiah Stutzman needed a 2nd place finish plus 1 bonus point. He stayed out on this caution, so he's got his 1 bonus point. So that could have came at a stage or leading a lap, but one is his 1 bonus point. And if he finishes 2nd, he'll be in no matter what.
Yeah, so he is holding on and doing his race the way he needs to do it to get through to the next round. Another big thing to note is because of that caution coming out between the contact with the 11 car and the 81, the 11 car was EOL'd. We'll start from the back of the longest line here, and that's significant because Andrew St. Coeur is still in 4th place.
That's huge. You're going to be watching now probably a pretty aggressive Scott Bailey trying to work his way through this field. So here we go. The field working their way through turns 3 and 4, and the field in the hands of Jeremiah Stutson, who did not pit under this caution, and everybody else did. VIRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane. The field in the hands of Jeremiah Stutson as they approach the clearly marked Geico pre-start zone. Green flag is back in the air. We're racing from the track. That is too tough to tame. And the battle for the lead is on. Seth Berger gets to the outside of Jeremiah Stutzman. Jonathan Jennings does the same, and they're through 1 and 2. Now Andrew St. Coeur looks to get by the car on older tires.
And I think that was really bottlenecking everybody. Andrew St. Coeur actually tagged the wall in the restart. Julio Villalobos took advantage. Jacob Reeves had to get out of the gas to avoid wrecking, and that allowed Julio Villalobos to get up behind the 12 car as he's looking to make a move on the 12 for third place.
You're right, Keenan there. And Villalobos does get third, and I think St. Coeur understands Bailey was eel weld and that he just has to finish it out to seek out his current benefit. And so he'll let Villalobos on through now, and he'll see maybe if there's a chance to get him later. But the top two, and Seth Berger and Jonathan Jennings, they are gone.
Yeah, they are gone. This is what happened on the first run too. Seth and Jonathan Jennings kind of separated themselves from the front of this field, and then it was kind of a big train of cars from third on back that were just kind of trying to work over each other, and that's kind of what's happened again.
So I know we're focusing a lot on Andrew St. Coeur, and for what it's worth, he is a driver below the cut line who is currently in the playoffs as we speak. Oh, sideways is Stutzman.
Yeah, big out of the gas there for Stutzman. He loses a couple of positions. It doesn't look like he tagged the wall. Just maybe the rear end stepped out on him on the exit of 4. But looks to have gathered it back under control now. He's still moving, so that's good. So you see the 11 car, the other car. Oh, Scott's in the wall. Or sorry, not Scott. Stutzman's in the wall.
But that puts Bailey into 10th, which is now 1 bonus point to his name.
And we see Byers following suit. Stutzman in big trouble. Starting this run from the lead is already fallen back out of the points, back to 12th place. And now we see Adrian Schumacher, who's made his way back in the race after that first lap incident, and he's still making up laps, 17, I believe that is, laps down, trying to pick up as many positions as he can.
There's already plenty of scraps for him to pick up. He can get up to 15th if he just keeps running around.
Yeah, and he is just going to probably do that, just run his race, stay out of the way, and do his thing. As he has a Jimmy Johnson throwback in front of him there.
Yeah, Matthew
And
Byers.
that's Matthew Byers.
That is the throwback. That is 2007, 2008 championship paint scheme, if you will, those seasons. Good looking car. That is a Jimmy fan saying that for what it's worth. Okay, Andrew St. Coeur has gotten back to third.
Yeah, it looks like Julio. It looks like Villalobos' car fired off very well, and then now he's having the same issue he had earlier, where he is just struggling off of the turns. It takes another few laps for his car to kind of kick back in. Seems like this intermediate run is not his friend, but once we get towards the longer run, his car comes back to him. But the last couple times off of turn 4, the rear end's just been wanting to step out.
At the moment, it is bad news bears if you are a Scott Bailey fan.
And again, the 45 almost stepped out off of turn 2.
Yeah, Julio Villalobos, I will say, he is known as being one of the more aggressive drivers for when he does race. But he tends to use up his stuff because of that. See Julio Villalobos out of the Mexican club here on iRacing. The only Mexican I can for sure say is ran the Outlaws Sim Series, actually. Be born and live in Mexico.
And you can see now this last lap has been a lot better for Villalobos, and now he's kind of gotten back into his groove, and it seems like the car's come back to him. It's just those, after about 5 laps, he starts to have trouble until we get about to lap 10 of the run, and then the car comes back to him a little bit. So very interesting setup that he has. He tries to get what he can on the start and then falls back a bit, and he's starting to come back to him. But it does look like that 12 car, though, is dialed in. As St. Coeur talked about in pre-race, he really likes this place, and that car is showing it right now.
You want to know something, Devin? He has gained half a second on the cars in front over the past couple of laps. He is hauling. His lap is 0.2 quicker than the laps ahead of him.
And Seth is starting to fall back into the clutches of Jennings now for the lead. Jennings caught back up to Seth. There was a pretty big gap between the two there for a minute, but now it's back down to about 0.3. Maybe Seth has backed off just a bit, knowing that maybe we're going to get a pretty long run here, trying to save his tires a little bit more.
You see the gap visually closing there. Jennings within 0.4 seconds and is gaining. Adrian Schumacher and Adam Gardner, they're on the same lap. And they are gaining spots through the field. Schumacher now up to 16th and is looking to get past Setzer as well. Now Schumacher to 15th and Gardner should be getting to 16th very soon as well.
So yeah, this is what Schumacher had to do. Now he's up to 15th. Pretty much as high as he can get now for a while, unless there's some other issues. But just, damage control. Make sure you secure your round of 8 bid, and that's what he's doing right now.
Race is on back here between Seth Fitzpatrick and Julio Villalobos. Tight. Oh, who's going to live? Villalobos trying to get behind Fitzpatrick. Everybody sideways, and somehow, Devin, they all make it through in one piece.
Yeah, and that's not a place that you want to go side by side through at all. The turn 4 is a little bit better to go side by side, but not turn 2. So the fact that they got out of there unscathed is very encouraging, as we see battles behind them as well. Tyler Markle trying to make a move. He had to back out. Now Reeves and everybody has kind of settled down again, but yeah, this is the pack to be focused on right now. This is where all the action is, from 3rd back to about 9th place there. Devin Smith. That's kind of where, I believe that's that's Devin Smith, and then Scott Bailey sitting there in 10th, trying to catch these guys and make it a 7-car tangle there for 4th place.
So, with the developments so far today, Devin, Matt Rogers has left the session and will officially be one of the drivers eliminated from championship competition. Unfortunately, it's looking pretty grim for Adam Gardner. Tyler Markle hits it off the wall there. He keeps going, but Devin Smith's going to have a run. We'll keep our eyes on that, but here's the attempt to overtake from Devin Smith. Goes down to the inside. Tyler lets him through, and Devin Smith, well, puts it in the wall. But for the moment, takes 8th. But as I was saying, looks pretty grim for Adam Gardner. He is, unfortunately, without a lot of help, he is also looking to be one of the drivers eliminated from championship competition. The 3rd one on that list is Devin Smith. He's not out of it, but he does not, at least at the moment, have the paces. Tyler Markle gets very sideways, and Scott Bailey gets on through. Importantly, Devin, that's a point for Scott Bailey.
Yeah, it is. That was scary moments there for the 42 car. Almost overcorrected it right back into Scott Bailey. So big moment averted. Way to hang on and save the car for Tyler Markle, but it looks like his car already is really lacking rear grip. As soon as he puts the power on, the back end of that car just wants to step around, as it does that time.
Oh, Tyler Markle is sideways, and he's going around and pop it off the inside wall.
Yeah, that's it did the exact same thing the lap before. He was able to catch it, but yeah, it looks like that car is not having a good time with rear tires. Devin Smith just did the same thing off of turn 2.
Oh man, looks like that car is still, for the most part, intact. There's a little bit of right front damage, actually.
Yeah, we're starting to see these rear tires burn off more than the front tires here. With these guys putting the gas back on a little bit earlier, you can kind of want to gas it up, get these run down these big straightaways, so that rear tires, they'll be the first ones to give up. And it looks like 20 laps into the run, they're doing just that.
Seth Fitzpatrick has gotten by Andrew St. Coeur, so St. Cour might not have the long run pace he anticipated, and things are tightening up front.
Yeah, Seth is maintaining the lead about 3/10. He's kind of held it there for a while. Jennings hasn't been able to really close it in past 3/10, but you can just visually see up there it is finally into 2/10, but you can really see the Jennings is starting to come on here in the long run. So maybe a short run car here, maybe something's changed with the it's finally the sun has set. So maybe something is not going correct for these drivers that have maybe more of a, a sunnier, warmer track setup in their cars.
So here we go. We're all lined up, and Jennings now applies the pressure. He's within a 10th now of Seth Berger. And how hard will both of these drivers fight? Jennings is locked in for what it's worth. Berger is looking pretty good, and I believe with a stage win, he would all but lock in. Actually, Berger is locked in just by starting tonight's race. So both of these drivers are locked in.
This is just pride now.
It is. Time to go wide.
Jennings hits a little bit lower than Seth. Almost got the wall there, but he does hit a little bit lower than Seth. Oh, Jennings! Oh, I think that was a kiss.
That might have been a kiss right there.
Really had to back out of a turn 2 there. Lost quite a bit of time, back to almost 4/10.
Tyler Markle falls out of the race, and that's another spot. Schumacher and Gardner are looking to gather themselves.
Looks like Gardner
bounces it off the wall that time as well.
And Adam Gardner's in the pits.
Oh, yeah, Adam Gardner's in the pit lane. You're right. He's still in the session, but he is not on track.
Yeah, I think he has called it possibly quit, so the car is fine. Damage-wise, I think he is just... I don't know if he's going to come back out or not, or if there was another issue that we're not aware of. Schumacher is still on the track, so he can still pick up those positions, but Jennings is having big troubles off of turn 2 as we've run aboard here with Seth Berger for a couple laps. It looks like Jennings has a lot better car through 3 and 4, but for some reason it's not wanting to get off of turn 2 very well at all. He's already kissed the wall twice in turn 2, and almost did so for the 3rd lap. So we're right on board with him again. And it's going to get interesting now. They're getting lap traffic.
Jeremiah Stutzman, a driver who could use some help in the playoffs, and a huge run to the favor of Jennings. He's got to run now.
Seth had to really get out of the gas. Stutzman was right in front of him, nowhere to go for Seth Berger, and that puts Jennings right back on the front foot within a 10th. And you can see off of turn 4, that 91 is just dialed in. It's right here in turns 1 and 2 where it seems like the 77 is a bit better.
2 laps to go in stage 1. And things are getting spicy up front. You saw it there, get a little closer. And Jennings trying to get to the gas. 1 lap to go now in the stage. Who can come back around and take it? Thing to note, Andrew St. Cour is in a battle right now with Jacob Reeves and Julio Villalobos. That's another thing to note, and he is severely fallen off.
Right behind them. Scott Bailey is right behind them.
Here we go. For the stage win. To the inside peaks. Jennings trying to put the power down. He can't get down there. Seth Berger sideways to the line. Seth Berger's going to win the stage, and he may lose the lead after that. Behind, we must check. Andrew St. Cour holds on to 4th. It's Jacob Reeves 5th. Julio Villalobos in 6th after Jennings and Fitzpatrick 2nd and 3rd. Bailey is 7th. Powell 8th, Byers 9th, and the pass for the lead has been completed. Jennings is by Seth Berger. as Devin Smith will finish 10th.
And the 12 and the 22.
They swap spots, you're right.
Yeah, swap spots. So yeah, St. Croix was just holding on. I'm just looking at the leaderboard there. It looks like the 12 has really fallen off, but yeah, he was just holding on for dear life to get those stage points.
So with that, it was St. Croix in 4th to Bailey in 7th, which brings the cut line down to 2. And right now, St. Croix is 1 spot ahead, but he is falling backwards. So St. Croix needs to pick up the pace here, somehow extend the long run pace he's got in that 12 machine, and hope for the best.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, he's fallen off quite a bit. It was looking really good there in the middle of that run, and as we approach the later stages, not so good. But 53 laps into a 250 lap race. As we're walking back here, you can see some of the battles.
There, we're trying to get back to that. That was the battle. Jennings on Zeph Berger. And here's St. Croix being overtaken by Villalobos and Jacob Reeves. Reeves powers it in there. Just gets to the inside.
Oh, off
of
a
St.
2.
Croix. Out of 4.
Out of 4, sorry.
Has to give it that spot, and Villalobos follows suit.
Yeah, it just looks like the rear tires just don't have any life in them left. For St. Croix, he can't power off the turns like he was earlier in the runs. 45, though, is hanging tough with this 22, and as we see the 11 there battling the 12.
So now everybody's kind of they've gotten the stage. They're starting to calm down, trying to find their own pace. The battle here, this is between the 2 bubble drivers in St. Croix and Scott Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey had to get out of the gas there. St. Croix just made his car pretty much the width of the racetrack. He's trying to keep the 11 behind him for as long as he can. It's such a tough place to pass anyway, but when you know that you're better than the car in front of you, and it just gets frustrating because it's so hard to pass. And you see again the 12 car, he does that exit on 4 that he's been doing the whole night, and you can see it upsets the air on the 11 car, and the 11 car has the back way off exiting turn 4, and he's not able to get the run down into turn 1. And that's really keeping this 12 car in front right now. The 11 can get to him. It's just off of turn 4. It's like the air just gets taken off the nose. And you can see a little bobble. Look how much he closes in here. And then watch off of 4. He sees the gap. The 12 dives down. And you see the 11 just slips up a little bit and loses all momentum off of turn 4.
A keen eye there, Devin. And the battle up front between Reeves and Villalobos is on. That William Villalobos has actually taken that spot.
They're side by side here. You saw it at the bottom of your screen there, and you can see it at the top again.
There they go, contact!
Oh, a little contact.
Oh, man. And Jacob Reeves holds on. So, well, they regenerate fair energy, and they will do battle again. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna go pit stop TV side by side here from a track that's known as Too Tough to Tame the Lady in Black and all that jazz. We'll be right back here at Pit Stop TV.
Have you been trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence. After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Darlington Raceway. We're here. It is Elimination Wednesday for the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. We're taking the drivers who've made the round of 12, and we are cutting it down to 8. And it has been a great night so far. We've had one caution this evening for Max Service, being contacted by Scott Bailey, and Matt Rogers making an appearance, we'll call it, in that incident as well. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to Devin Zimmerman for joining me on the call this evening, filling in for us tonight here for the Outlaws Sim Series. I'm Emerson Arden, and glad to be bringing you coverage here from the track that's known as Too Tough to Tame. Jonathan Jennings is your race leader. You saw him make the overtake on Seth Berger. Seth Fitzpatrick is now in third and is looking to close that gap as well. Jacob Reeves has powered his way to fourth, but he is not free yet because Julio Villalobos is on it. In the break, Scott Bailey was able to get by Andrew St. Coeur. Matthew Byers is in eighth. Doug Solms having a banner day today in ninth, and still in the lead lap. It is Jeremiah Stutzman, the first car, one lap down in 10th. Kevin Powell, Randall Barnett, 1 and 2 laps down respectively. Adrian Schumacher is on the pit lane, and he might be calling it a day, and he will. So Adrian Schumacher tows it from the 13th position. Those 12 cars still running. Oh boy. Absolutely. I was trying to see. Maybe we can find the battle, and here it is. Yep. Got a little. Here we go. Andrew St. Coeur, he has made his pit stop. And so, Andrew figured out, his long run pace, it's not all that great. Come in pit now, try to remedy your problem, right? Try to figure out what it is, get that stop in. You're probably going to make 2 more stops to finish out the race tonight. And you know what? He's brought down some company. Scott Bailey is now on pit road. Jacob Reyes. I wonder if we are actually at the end of our fuel run. Absolutely.
Have stayed out. Seth Fitzpatrick, also Julio Villalobos also stayed out. They're still running, so I believe this may be just covering all bases for Scott Bailey to make sure he stays in front of that 12 car and can maintain position for the next stage.
And down and away is the 11. Interesting.
A lengthy stop there. Yeah, a little bit of a lengthy stop there. 14 seconds. Normally in these cars, you see about 11 seconds, so about 3 seconds there added. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe damage. Yeah, you could be right. But as it is anyway, Andrew St. Cyr retakes the position from Scott Bailey up in front of him again. That's his goal tonight, is to stay in front of that 11 car all the way to the end through both stages, and he could see himself in to the round of 8.
So that gap is right now 5 seconds between those two cars, and stage 2 will conclude at the end of lap 113. So we'll have to wait and see, but what happens in 40 laps from now could be huge on if Andrew St. Cyr and Scott Bailey makes the next round of playoffs. Because right now, that 6-point advantage that Scott Bailey had over Andrew St. Cyr is now a 2-point advantage. And actually, as we speak, it's a 1-point advantage.
It's so tight now on that cut line. And these are the two guys we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. Talked to both of them to see how they're feeling. St. Cyr a little bit encouraged. He likes this track. Wish he had a little bit more time to practice it, but he does like the track. Scott Bailey a little bit more realistic, trying to just focus on tonight. Didn't get a lot of practice in like he wanted as well, but focusing on just doing well and keeping the car going. And yeah, it's planned out very well for the 12 car so far, but we'll have to see if he can keep that going. The 11 is right behind him, and you know the 11 has speed on the long run.
I wonder if he's going to be able to, if Andrew's going to be able to pick up a little pace, even if it's not amazing long run pace like Scott Bailey, even if it's a little bit better and he tries to even off and maybe he stays in front of him by the end of lap 113. I think that's all he really needs to accomplish tonight. And then he'll heads up race him the rest of the race. But here we go. I was keeping my eye here because this is Seth Berger and Seth Fitzpatrick, both locked into the next round of playoffs, but they are battling, and looks like Fitzpatrick coming down pit road,
along with Seth Berger
and Jonathan Jennings.
And
so here comes the leaders.
Top 3. Very interesting pit road entry there. You kind of saw it. These guys can peel off anytime there in turn 3 to make it onto this pit road, and it looks like Jennings and Berger peeled off a little bit later than Seth Fitzpatrick did, but all 3 make it down pretty unscathed. That'll hand the lead over to Julio Villalobos.
Villalobos doing a nice job keeping himself
still running.
And watching the times now, Fitzpatrick in the box down at 14.8. Jennings a 14.3. Berger still in the box, and did Berger speed? Oh, well, I guess the good news for him is he's locked in. But oh boy.
This is either damage or speeding, and if it's another 10 seconds, I'm going to say speeding.
Well, if the stop is 55 seconds, it is a 14-second stop plus the 40 seconds. So 54 seconds, and it's a speeding penalty. Wait, those next 4. 2, 1, 0. That was a speeding penalty.
Speeding penalty.
Mr. Seth Berger dinged by the speeding police.
That's pretty massive here. That it's going to be hard to get back that time, if at all. with the way that Jennings is running here so far tonight, as we are riding on with the leader. Oh, so my goodness. The rear end of that car is not happy. It would probably behoove the 45 to bring it down sooner rather than later. Here comes Jennings now underneath of him.
Lapping himself.
And the 45 almost sideways coming off of 2.
Oh, same with Stutzman and now St. Coeur. Everybody getting sideways there off the corner. Jacob Reeves unlapped himself. Reeves.
And St. Coeur is actually going to be a beneficiary of Seth Berger's mistake. That's an extra point for him going through the standings here, just to cement his lead a little bit more. And he's actually passed Fitzpatrick as well. Fitzpatrick, of course, way newer tires. Should be able to catch up to that 12 car here shortly. But as it stands at the moment, he does have a couple of places between him and Scott Bailey.
Yes, they do. Okay, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Jennings, the theoretical leader, over Reeves, St. Coeur, Fitzpatrick, and Scott Bailey, the theoretical top 5. But, of course, Julio Villalobos is out here, and he is leading this thing. Byers and Powell also out there as well. We've yet to pit, but it's Julio Villalobos leading in the Outlaws Sim Series with a 12.2 second lead.
Yeah, big lead here over Byers, who has stayed out. Kevin Powell also stayed out so far. Those are the 3 that have not pitted. They're going to have to come down soon, but not this time. Villalobos staying up front, maybe hoping for a caution. Some of these guys on newer tires, maybe a caution will come out. We'll have to see. But as it stands right now, he will have to pit fairly soon in order to maintain good position. But in any case, he's going to have some of the best tires on the track when he does come out.
So Andrew St. Coeur was overtaken by Seth Fitzpatrick, as we expected. But with that, Scott Bailey is now lapping about a quarter tenth quicker than Andrew St. Coeur. So that gap will begin to diminish. Seth Berger might have a word in this battle, though. He attempts to close them on Scott Bailey, unlapping himself. Never mind, he's a lap down to that battle as well. Matthew Byers, I thought he was pitting. He was just off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he had to catch a wall tap or something like that. I'm sure these tires are screaming. We saw the leaders come down. They're running way faster than they were at the end of that last run. A good 2 seconds fall off from just the time that they were on the track. So these leaders, the guys who have come down and pitted, are running about 2 seconds faster than Julio Villalobos, Kevin Powell, and Byers.
That is correct. 2 seconds. There's actually 3. I think Villalobos maybe made a mistake, but it's back to 2 seconds. A lap slower, and here comes Villalobos to pit road. Oh, locking up, trying to get down to pit road speed.
And don't want to do what Seth Berger did. That's a big time penalty if you have to serve a speeding penalty. But you can see there's some right side damage. A couple of these cars have already kissed that wall, either off of turn 2 or turn 4. Darlington stripe really getting its name tonight.
So you see this car here, while Kevin Powell is out here, he has yet to pit. It is worth mentioning, this race is going to be, it is in remembrance of, this race of course is in remembrance of, it's for Adam Strong, which is helping out one of our race controller, Daniel, who had one of his family members pass away this past week. They have a GoFundMe set up by Kelly Wells for medical expenses, and so he died from a rare form of cancer, and that is what Kevin Powell and most of the guys who are running Adam Strong on the car, they are in support of. So, of course, a shout out and best prayers to Daniel and his family, of course, and of course, best wishes to all of those involved. But it's a great message that they're running, everybody coming together in support there, and Powell dedicating the entire car to Adam Strong. Matthew Byers is on the pit lane, pitting from the second position. Field levels 14.7. Here's Byers, and Powell got passed by Jennings on the racetrack.
Yeah, so Jennings takes the lead the hard way. Had to drive from a lap down, pass everybody, and then come and pass the leader again, Powell there. So maybe just trying to hope for a caution at this point. But I'm not sure if it's going to come. These cars very spread out. Again, only 12 cars still running on the track. And they are very, very spread out across this track. Not really many cars close to each other. The biggest battle on the track is going to be between 5th and 6th. That's going to be Andrew St. Coeur and Scott Bailey. There's about 2 seconds between them now. But that is the battle to watch for the final playoff spot moving forward into the round of 8. As it stands right now, Andrew St. Coeur does look to the good. Scott Bailey, though, wanting to change that and maintain his place in that final 8. Again, just a recap if you are just joining us. Matt Rogers and Matt Service had an issue. Max Service and Scott Bailey getting together. Max Service spinning out in turn 4. Then Matt Rogers running into Max Service. Both engines were killed. They have called it a night. Matthew Setzer also called it a night. He was having, I believe, trouble with a toe link, if I'm not mistaken, getting the wall off of turn 2. Tyler Markle had trouble as well. He dinged the wall after losing the rear grip off of turn 4. I believe a left front toe link on that car was broken. Adam Gardner, we're not sure what exactly happened to Adam Gardner. He was racing before, but he has since called it quits.
And, he's returning.
He's actually returning to the track now. So as I say that, he returns to the track. But, yes, he had an issue earlier. He was staying off the track. I believe he is just going to try and get as many places as he can when some people drop out of the track, just to try and get what he can. He did have an issue earlier and then came up pit road, but yeah, looks like unfortunately his run for the championship 8 or the round of 8 is over, as well as Matt Rogers. Adrian Schumacher is trying to maintain his positioning for the round of 8 is out. He was involved in a lap 1 incident, lost the right front toe link and had to come down and get it replaced. He is just turning laps just so he can get a decent finish and maintain his place in the round of 8. After that, Jeremiah Stutzman made a tire call, and it has unfortunately put him a couple of laps down after making his pit stop. Matthew Byers, Randall Barnett, Doug Solms, they also came in. They've done their pit stop. Seth Berger had a pit road speeding penalty after leading most of the race. Scott Bailey
they
hits
both
the wall.
get the wall. Bailey and St. Coeur.
Yeah, as we see this battle now. Oh, they hit the wall off 2 as well.
They both did.
Good gracious. All right, we'll stay here on this one. This is heating up. Oh, he sends it.
Side by side. Trying to get back to the power. St. Coeur is probably not going to have much left to say about that. And Scott Bailey now 2-5 over Andrew St. Coeur. And Andrew is going to have to turn this around quick if he's going to advance to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, this is not over by any means. If it stays like this, 5th and 6th for this, for the end of this stage coming up very shortly, if Andrew St. Coeur, something happens toward the end of the race and he can still finish in front of Scott Bailey, it's still going to be very, very close. this does not help, but it's not the end of the world for that 12 car or any fans of the 12 car watching.
Of course, they're both going to have to finish this race out and in one piece.
Yeah, and the 11 car went sideways off of turn 2 again. I mean, yeah, these drivers finding this rear grip. I talked about it before, but it does look like these rear tires are just not hanging on the way these drivers want them to here, especially off of turn number 4 and turn number 2.
So we witnessed that battle change hands, and now Andrew St. Cyr is in hang on mode. He does have a large margin over Villalobos, so he should hold on to this spot for the stage, but it's gonna be close behind that. Jonathan Jennings has a 3-second lead over Seth Fitzpatrick, and then Kevin Powell finds himself 12 seconds off the pace. Looking out with Jacob Reeves. Kevin Powell actually has not pitted yet.
Yeah, Kevin Powell not pitted. He's staying out. Trying to fight Jacob Reeves here for all he's got. Reeves, though, should get the position here, and I believe he will finally claim it.
So move Reeves up to the 3rd position, 14.5 seconds back of race leader Jonathan Jennings. Kevin Powell just behind. 21 seconds back, you'll find Scott Bailey in 5th. Andrew St. Cyr, 24.5 seconds back in that 6th position, and trying to hang on.
Yeah, and those are all the cars on the lead lap. Only the top 6 on the lead lap. Julio Villalobos' first car a lap down. He did just come down not too long ago and got fresh tires. Again, Seth Berger suffering a pit road speeding penalty. That is why he is a lap down. And then Byers just came down not too long ago, got his pit stop as we see him battling with the 11 car. Again, the 94 on fresh tires should make that pass pretty easily.
Byers unlapping himself there to Scott Bailey. That's Solms. Still running in the top 10. And 1 lap down.
Yeah, he's not really pushing the car. I've been watching some of his laps. He's not pushing the car, just trying to get a good finish and hang on to it. A very tough track, very mentally challenging, physically challenging track is Darlington. So just hanging on to the equipment, nursing the car to the end, that seems to be Doug Solms' his methodology here. You know, just trying to get to the end of the race, a very long race, 106 laps in. We still have just under 150 laps to go. So still a long time to go in this race, and he's just hanging on there.
Absolutely. This is Doug Solm trying to pass St. Cyr to unlap himself. And there's 7 laps to go in stage 2. Jonathan Jennings, he is on it. He is absolutely just showed up, and he qualified a pole. Seth Berger had the early lead, and I wonder what would be the case if Seth Berger didn't speed. But with Seth Berger out of the picture, Jonathan Jennings is on rails, and he is looking set to what would be the first. He would be at the moment looking to be the first driver to 5 wins on the season. He is at that 4-win mark with Jonathan Jennings. I'm sorry, with Seth Fitzpatrick, with Max Service, and with Adrian Schumacher. Max Service, he is crashed out, and Adrian Schumacher, he has also crashed out. He had the lap 1 crash that pretty much put end to his race. He then tried to, claw back every position he could, but that was that. So then it's Jennings and Seth Fitzpatrick, and while there's still a long way to go, and Fitzpatrick is 3 seconds back of Jonathan Jennings at the moment, It just looks like Jonathan Jennings has this one in the bag. He is on rails and he is setting sail. So Devin Smith has called it a day. So Devin Smith, Matt Rogers, and Adam Gardner all are eliminated from this from the round of 8. And the only driver who's currently out trying to get in, who still has a shot, is Andrew St. Coeur. That 12 machines. So a couple storylines there. Of course, drivers trying to make the round of 8, and the drivers trying to break through to get their 5th win on the season. Seth Berger was looking to be the 5th driver on the season with 4 wins apiece and no driver to break through with 5, but his speeding penalty put him behind the 8 ball. Well, again, it's not over. It's not looking pretty.
No, it's not. And again, the 12 car here, he is about to go a lap down to Jonathan Jennings. Oh, he hits the wall right in front of the leader.
And this could be huge. Villalobos is going to get by as well.
Position. That's for position.
That's for position, and that's a point in the favor now of Bailey. So now 2 points back to Scott Bailey's name. So that 2-point advantage that Bailey has is now 4, with 2 laps to go in stage number 2. Villalobos is just driven around Jonathan Jennings, unlapped himself. Wow, Andrew St. Coeur has been lapped. And the gap between Jennings and Fitzpatrick is now down to 2.6 seconds. So Jennings lost a good bit of time there trying to duke it out with St. Coeur and Villalobos, but 1 lap to go now in stage number 2.
Yeah, just giving up that the racing line to the 45 is kind of possibly what cost all of that. Is you see in the background there, 12 car taps the wall off 2. Another big hit for the 12 car.
And he's got to calm it down. It's still a long race. He's got to keep himself in it. He may get a yellow. Got to keep himself in it. But Jonathan Jennings is going to win stage 2. Seth Fitzpatrick will finish 2nd. Jacob Reeves coming around. It'll be Andrew St. Coeur in 7th. Seth Berger in 8th. Matt Byers will finish 9th as Jacob Reeves will finish 3rd. Kevin Powell will finish 4th. Scott Bailey will finish 5th. Julio Villalobos will finish 6th. And Doug Solms is going to finish 10th in stage 2.
Yeah, and we keep trucking along. Again, no caution flags, no stage breaks. It's under natural flag conditions, so we keep under green flag, and the field spreads out again. Not really many battles left on the track, at least for position. Looks like the closest cars together are the 12 and the 67, but again, that is not for position. The 67 is 2 laps down, Doug Solms, and the 12 is 1 lap down.
And how long did I go? I think the battle for the lead is the closest at 3.3 seconds. Another close one is between Kevin Powell, Scott Bailey, and Julio Villalobos, and that could change hands still.
Yeah, Villalobos again. Yeah, he has the freshest tires out of these guys. He pitted very, very late into the run, as opposed to the 11, and the 93 still has not pit. I believe he is still out there on the tires from the very first pit stop under the caution. Right. I don't think that he has come down and taken his pit stop yet. He's got to be low on fuel.
You talk about it, you can go maybe about 90 laps on fuel. Well, we're about at that point. We're actually probably closer to 100 laps. I don't really know what the game plan is here. Unless we pitted, we just didn't see it. Somebody who is pitting though, Andrew St. Coeur. And this now is no longer to play for stage points. He is playing out his strategy for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and he was struggling mightily on those tires. This car is just not set up for the long run. It seems like he has great short run speed, But after about 20 laps, the car just starts to struggle mightily off of the turns, and he's not able to keep the momentum up like he normally is. So he's in for his stop.
Down and away at 14.5 seconds. And we'll see how long he is able to go on his set of tires, where he ends up, what strategy ends up prevailing in about 130 laps time. And I don't know how pressed Scott Bailey is going to be on trying to cover that off.
Yeah, I think at this point, if you're Scott Bailey, you just need to run your race. You got what you needed to out of that stage, got some comfort. So now it's just run your race, do your thing, keep the car out of trouble, which he's got a little bit of trouble behind him, Julio Villalobos, on fresher tires. Trying to make the pass. This is for position.
And trying to go around the outside, Scott Bailey, he's going to give way, give him the racing line, and probably just let him by. He will do so. So Villalobos back to 5th. Randall Barnett has called it today, so we're down to 11 cars. We're approaching the halfway point of this race. Jonathan Jennings, 3.6 second lead. And Jacob Reeves, 21 seconds back in 3rd. Kevin Powell, 25.8 seconds back in 4th. Julio Villalobos, 27.2 seconds back in 5th. Scott Bailey, 27.8 back in 6th. Seth Berger, now the first car 1 lap down in 7th. Byers, 8th. Doug Solms, first car 2 laps down in 9th. Jeremiah Sutton, 10th. Andrew St. Cour, just pitted, down in 11th. We are going to go ahead and take a little side-by-side. We're not going to go anywhere. You'll still be here at the track with us. Actually, as Kevin Powell is finally making his pit stop. We'll cover this.
A very long run for the 93 car.
Unbelievable run.
He's going to go a couple laps down here, I do believe, with this stop. But again, he will have mightily fresher tires. I do think he's got to stop at least one more time. I don't know if it's I don't know if he's going to be able to stretch it like a Jeremiah Stutzman type of strategy, but it'd be very, very close, but I don't think that he'll be able to make it the rest of the way.
So while he is pitting, Jeremiah Stutzman is also either off the pace or pitting. There's a pass for position between Seth Berger and Matthew Byers, and Seth just got loose. Oh, Stutzman got loose as well, and Byers just went right on by.
And again, that's for position. That's for the lucky dog spot if there would be a caution come out. So the 94 in that spot right now. The 77 putting himself behind the 8 ball due to that pit road speeding penalty. Again, he is safe as we see him come in for his pit stop.
Yes,
hopefully
he's locked in.
Hopefully he made it down safely this time, but he is locked in.
He's locked in. He got himself one bonus point, one playoff point for winning stage 1. But since then, Seth Berger is, I think this is just more or less just get laps and set yourself up. If you can do something next round at like a Homestead or North Wilkesboro, or set yourself up for the playoff race at Atlanta.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a tough round next round. So at this point, it's just ticking off laps, seeing how the car handles. I'm sure we're going to be coming back to Darlington again, so he can make mental notes.
Speed? Or is he
he sped again?
Or is he just calling it a day?
If he sped again, oh my gosh.
We'll watch it. We'll sit here and we'll watch his timer. If that timer hits 54 and he goes down and away, my goodness. Andrew Secure is up to 8th as a result of the pit stops and getting by Stutzman and Doug Solms. Good looking car. I guess this is one way to get TV time for it.
And we're still going.
Might just be calling it a day.
Yeah, I think he might be calling it. He's safe. Again, this is a long, mentally taxing race, so maybe he is not happy with the way the car's performing. Mental error with pit road on the first stop, and just had enough of it for today. And Jennings is pretty much running away with us on 3 seconds back to Seth Fitzpatrick as he works his way around the 11 of Scott Bailey, puts him a lap down.
Teammate puts lap down there in 5th. And wow, this race has become quite a beast. So Jonathan Jennings leads 3.5 seconds over Fitzpatrick. It's Reeves and Villalobos the rest of the lead lap. Bailey and Byers 5th and 6th, 1 lap down. Powell, St. Clair, Solms, Stutzman 2 laps down. They're still running, and Seth Berger has called it today. And he's in interview waiting. So finally, I guess we'll pull him up and we'll see. Seth, what ended up happening? You just misjudged pit entry? Was it a speeding penalty that you got on the first stop, or what happened?
I don't know how it was a speeding penalty. I never held 1 mile an hour over more than a second. That's the first time I ever got a penalty for doing it for half a second. I've been able to push a lot more. The first pit stop under caution, I pushed it harder than I did on the penalty, and I got it in the middle of pit road. So I don't know what happened, but lessons learned before the final round.
There you go. What did you think your pace was in comparison to Jennings? Had you not had sped, do you think you would have had anything for what Jennings is pacing out right there right now?
I think I would have been able to do anything within 5 seconds. I don't know if I could have beat him. I think the track started to go away from me there. It started getting loose, but it was also tight at the same time, so I think the setup just started going away. But I think the performance that Jennings and Fitzpatrick have been putting on at the last few weeks, besides Talladega, I think they're showing that they're clear-cut favorites right now for the championship.
That being said, what kind of work are you and Max and Adrian going to do, see if you can reel it back in?
Well, eliminate mistakes is probably the first thing. We're all out of the race. Mine is a personal choice just because of how long this race is, and there was really nothing to be gained, really, since I'm locked into the next round. So, yeah, really just mistakes. Homestead, I think, is going to be the best race that we could control. Atlanta, I believe, is a super speedway version of it, so that's going to be all luck there with how chaotic the racing is there. And Wilkesboro, you could control it, but it's going to be a tough track setup-wise just because it's not really an official race that NIS goes to or anything, so it's going to be tough to find a good base to start off with and adjust on.
Well, Seth, you did win stage 1, if I'm not mistaken, so that is 1 bonus point to your name, at least leaving today. So another bonus point to start you off for the next round of playoffs. Fortunate circumstances for how today played out, but that'll happen. Best luck to you in the next round of the playoffs.
Thank you. Shout out Burger Nation and Uptown Garage.
There, it was a beautiful car out on the track again. Loved seeing that 777 out there. Got some pit stops there while we interviewed Seth. And Jennings.
Yeah, Doug Solms came down. Both leaders came down. Jennings back out and away. He maintains the lead. He maintains third place. Julio Villalobos and Byers both went long on the first run. They're still up in front of Byers, right in front of him. So he'll go ahead and take second back right here, about 15 seconds behind the 45, who again has yet to pit. But theoretically, once all of the pit stops are done, It does look like uh, the gap between the 91 and the 2 will remain pretty much exactly how it was when they pitted. So no time gain or loss on pit road for either driver. And that may be one of their last stops of the race. They might have to stop one more time. I'm not sure.
They will have to stop one more time. Actually, I believe Fitzpatrick closed a little bit as a result of the pit stop, but he's stuck behind Matthew Byers. Never mind, Byers is up here. Byers lets him by. So it was gonna be closer, but Fitzpatrick had to pass Byers, and that has opened up the gap again. Stutzman is down and away at a 14.6, and we have only Byers and Villalobos to pit. Andrew St. Court is on a severely earlier strategy. So we'll see how it plays out for Andrew St. Court. He's probably going to have to make 2 more stops before the end of this race, and everybody else I think is only going to make 1. We'll see how the math works out. I think Andrew, more than anything, is probably just hoping for a yellow.
Yeah, at this point, I think that is a pretty good assessment. He's going to really need 1, especially now that he's back on the lead lap. A yellow at this point in the race would really help him out.
It would be huge at this moment, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It'd be very huge right now. So that's something that he's probably looking forward to. Same with Julio Villalobos being up in the lead. A yellow right now for him would be very beneficial as well. So I don't know if we're gonna get it. Ooh, he might be the caution.
Oh man, he
but
was sideways.
yeah, man, he's done that a few laps in a row, but he was doing it at the end of the last run too, able to hold on to it. Very impressive that he's able to hold onto the car as well as he is, but he is definitely fighting that thing massively on the short run series. He lets the 22 by.
Jacob Reeves unlaps himself. And we await Julio Villalobos, Matthew Byers to make their pit stops. And we're gonna go do what we were originally gonna do before we hit that pit cycle. We're gonna take it side by side. We'll be right back with coverage here from the Lady in Black.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome back, race fans, to the virtual Darlington Raceway. Track that's too tough to tame. The Lady in Black, a NASCAR tradition, NASCAR's first speedway, home of the Southern 500, and home of Elimination Wednesday for the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. The round of 12 becomes the round of 8 after tonight's 250 lap affair. We're through 47 laps. 148 just ticked over. Through 147, and we still have 103 to go here from Darlington. Huge shout out to Devin Zimmerman joining me alongside Ford Vical this evening. I am Emerson Arden, and again, bringing you coverage of race 32 of 36 here for the Outlaws Sim Series. Take a look at the point standings coming into today's race. These are not live. These are what were the points following Talladega. And we can kind of update you on what's happened since. Seth Fitzpatrick, Jonathan Jennings, they were locked in to begin with. Seth Berger is locked in following his stage win. Plus, also, he's going to finish no worse than 11 for 13th. Even though the two cars behind him return to the track. So, Seth Berger is locked in. Max Service is looking all but locked in. I think Max Service falls out. And actually, at that, I think Max Service is pretty close to locking in at that. So Max Service is close. Adrian Schumacher, he fought back to also try to get himself close to locking in. So for all intents and purposes, they are into the next round. Jeremiah Stutzman, he's had a little bit of a tough day today, but his bubble above the cut line should be enough to lock himself in after the race this evening. We'll wait on the math on that, but Stutzman should be safe. It's Jacob Reeves who's having an okay day. Right now in the 5th position. He's actually running a little bit higher. And he's still waiting for Villalobos and Powell to pit. So I guess having a pretty good day, all things considered. He'd be 3rd on his current strategy. Scott Bailey's the one who had a little bit of a roller coaster of a day. He got into Max Service, bringing out the one and only caution this evening. And he got EOL, so he had to go to the rear of the field. His 6-point advantage over Andrew St. Cour closed down to 2 after stage 1, but after getting a couple spots ahead of Andrew St. Cour, it is back up to 4 points Scott Bailey has over Andrew St. Cour after stage 2, and Andrew St. Cour is actually about to be overtaken by Scott Bailey. So let's go down there and let's see the battle on track.
Yep, this is a battle for position. Andrew St. Cour, Scott Bailey. 1 lap down, and the 12 car really loose as the 11 goes around pretty easily. Tires coming into play there. 11 a lot fresher tires. 12 really struggling here on the long runs as well. And you can see it, the car is just not happy, weaving everywhere on the long runs here.
For what it's worth, he had 16 lap older tires than Scott Bailey, so that was almost bound to happen. And now you look at it, Andrew St. Cour, he's probably going to go, another 10, 15 laps or so in pit, and then he's still going to have one more stop to make in this race. Everyone else is probably going for one more stop in this race. St. Cour probably has 2.
Yeah, an interesting strategy pulled there, but it's one that he thought that he had to do with the tire situation. Fortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to play out his way at the moment, but we see here is Villalobos coming down to take his stop. I think they can run 100 laps or close to 90, so this might be his last stop of the race. We'll have to see.
A little bit of a lockup coming into his box, but he's all good. Gets stopped on the side. I'm starting to really like this paint scheme. I know I said that earlier, but it is a beautiful car. Down and away is the 45 machine, and he'll get back to battling. Get out there on the track amongst the rest of the drivers in the Outlaws Sim Series. And then there was one, Kevin Powell, still one to pit on this pit cycle. I guess, no, Matthew Byers is one we're, I guess, really waiting for on this pit cycle. And he is 65 laps into his fuel run.
Yeah, he went long last time. I expect him to go long again. He's going to try and make this thing at least one more stop, and that's it. and see where it plays out. It's working so pretty well for him so far, sitting up here in 6th. He was down in the 11th and 12th place when we had a lot more cars on the track. So this strategy working out very well for him here in the long run.
Myers is going to get himself notch himself a nice little run here, yes. And the car behind Adrian St. Court is looking to make a pass here for position. I think Coor does have about 30 lap fresher tires than Matthew Byers and is chasing him down. Got on board with Andrew St. Court, kind of see the struggles that he's enduring and also how he's running the track. So I was a little I was wondering what gear these drivers are running. He's running 5th gear in 1 and 2, and he's now shifting to 4th here in 3 and 4. And that's a beautiful run he's got on the 94. Got a huge run. He will send it into 1. Try not to wall him. A little bit of contact you see up in the mirror in the top left. They make it through okay. Andrew St. Cour up to 6th. Here's a battle. Jacob Reeves on Kevin Powell. They are about to be lapped, so this is about to be a battle for the lucky dog as well. And so Jonathan Jennings is there looking to put a lap on Powell and Reeves. Reeves looking to make the pass. Jennings is gonna have to sit. Let his brother on through. Powell goes 1 lap down. Now Reeves holds on and he goes a lap down. And now Jonathan Jennings has put a lap on everybody but 2nd place, Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, only 2 cars left on the lead lap now, about 14 seconds, 15 seconds now between them. And it's growing mightily.
Actually, he's
I think, is he coming
pitting,
down? Oh, he
or,
is pitting.
Wait, no, that's the wrong side of the racetrack. Something
Uh-oh.
amiss with the 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick. And this, we're going to have to go back a little bit. This is about a lap and a half ago. He's battling it out with Julio Villalobos. Off the corner, they come together. Pounding the wall is Seth Fitzpatrick.
That's a big hit. We can't see the right front tire. I don't know if that's a toe link or not.
Oh, and he can't turn. Stutzman.
Yeah, that's a toe link.
Oh, yeah. And he couldn't make it down pit road, Fitzpatrick. So he had to go around a whole other lap, similar to what we saw Adrian Schumacher had to do. And Fitzpatrick, that's why the gap was dropping so steadily. Andrew St. Cour right now has hit the pit lane. And I believe it was just Fitzpatrick just driving back around. He pitted as well to try to repair that thing. So there's Fitzpatrick. Andrew St. Cour. Down and away. 14-5, and I imagine one more stop is in the arsenal for the 12 machine. So Seth Fitzpatrick in trouble, and that'll leave us with 9 cars remaining in the race if he does not return to the track. He's locked in via his win at USA, so he does not really have any more incentive to go back out there. But big trouble for the driver who was running second, and for a moment did look like he had a shot at the teammate Jonathan Jennings.
Yeah, he was pretty much the only car within striking distance. Everybody else a lap down or more. But yeah, there's quite a few lap cars starting to get back through. Julio Villalobos passing Jacob Reeves there, unlapping himself from Jacob Reeves. And then also Andrew St. Cyr, who's come back on the track on fresh tires, trying to get his way back around drivers as well with slower tires. So trying to make the most of those good fresh tires as you have them. So but yeah, a lot of beam banging. These cars starting to look a little worn out and worn down a bit as we get later in this run. A lot of wall taps have happened so far. So now we see the 12
have been had.
Yes, I think by every single one of these drivers except maybe the leader. But even the leader, I think, got into a wall a couple times when he was battling with Seth Berger earlier in the race.
Buy that. So, Andrew St. Cyr, he is 3 laps down, and he's trying to make up all the time he can. He is trying to play the strategy to where he ends up while everybody else pits. The only thing is, if he has to make 2 stops and everybody else makes 1, I don't know how well he is going to fare. Because right now, there is 80 laps left in the race. And say everybody else goes another 20 at 60 laps. I don't think people are going to pit with less than 60 laps. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't think, anyway. But St. Cyr trying to lap himself from Jonathan Jennings. Put him 2 laps down.
Yeah, he gets around him there pretty easily. Jennings lets him go.
St. Cyr has Matthew Byers up the road.
And Byers is for position, so that would be getting the 12 car up to 6th place. Again, Byers has not pit yet. He will take probably his final pit stop here, not before too long.
Byers just pitted, so...
Or just pitted, sorry. He just pitted. Yeah, you're right. He did just pit.
So he might be done. He might be good to the end, or can have one late in the race. Here we go. That race is on for position.
It's only a two lap tire difference here, Byers and St. Cyr. You can just see how much better the 12 car is on the short run. Right up to the back bumper of this 94. Tries to poke to the inside, getting into 3. Not able to complete the pass that time, but he's going to look to get the run here off of 4.
Big run.
Big run. He should make that pass pretty easily. Yep, already completed it, getting into turn number 1.
Andrew St. Cyr passes Matthew Byers up to 6th. St. Cyr, the first car, 2 laps down. He has an entire lap behind Julio Villalobos. Was it at start finish? Now, Andrew St. Cyr a lap plus now. That distance between themselves and the start finish line. Kevin Powell.
Villalobos.
Yep.
Whoa! Doug Soames and Villalobos almost got together there. I was about to say Villalobos is he's been driving very aggressively to get himself back up to catch back to Scott Bailey's, Kevin Powell, Jacob Reeves, who had not passed too long ago, and he's already put on quite a distance between them. He could actually catch the 11 car here not before too long. So, but he is driving the wheels off of that thing right now. One of the fastest cars on the track. And you see that ticker in red down at the bottom of the screen, just counting off the seconds to Scott Bailey when he catches him.
Oh, you popped the wall there. He's driving hard.
Yeah, he's done that a couple of times. It doesn't look to affect the speed too much. Again, these next-gen cars have a little bit tougher body on them, so you can tap the wall quite a few times, not have it affect too much. But if you do it just in the wrong angle, you can break that toe link, as we saw Seth Fitzpatrick do earlier. Well, not earlier, just a few moments ago.
He was battling with Julio Villalobos.
Yep, and just tagged that wall the wrong spot off of 2 there, and it broke that right front toe link. So that's something you do not want to do if you are the 45 right now.
You see, he's gained 2 seconds since he got on board with Julio Villalobos, trying to close that gap to Scott Bailey, and it is dropping. I mean, this is impressive. Quickly he's catching. Now, for what it's worth, the tire age difference is 23 laps. So, Villalobos does have much fresher tires.
And right behind him is the 12 car who we were talking about, is the next car for position, but it's not going to be this time. Andrew St. Clair has to basically pass Villalobos twice to get that position. But this first one could come pretty quickly here. The 12 car is right behind the 45 as we speak.
Here it is, 1 lap to Villalobos.
Big run again off of turn 4 for the 12 car. Gets to the inside, pokes the nose, and the 45 lets him go.
No need to battle that. It is for position, but not that time. You're right. Let him go. And Villalobos behind Andrew St. Clair gets smaller in his mirror, but that just means St. Clair's catching him.
Yeah. And he's got to go a whole another time around the track to catch him, and it's going to be a tall order for this 12 car. We've seen struggle on these long runs to do that. Fully expecting some fall off to happen here in the next few laps. So St. Clair knows that. He's trying to get all he can right now, doing a fantastic job on these short runs. Thought he had the speed in the car at the beginning of the race, and it just kind of fell away from him as we got further and further on these long runs.
Myers looking to join that battle as well, passing Villalobos to lap himself, but still a lap behind.
Yeah, this is another interesting race on an oval where we've seen everyone from second on back be a lap down. I think the only other time that I've seen that would have been at Rockingham earlier in this season.
Elton put a lap on everybody, but I believe Zoltan Hertzeg, or if he did, Hertzeg was 1 lap down and everybody else was 2.
That's what it was. Hertzeg was 1 lap down, everybody else was 2.
But for what it's worth, I feel like Jennings would at least have 2 others on the lead lap if it wasn't for Berger speeding and Fitzpatrick wrecking. But I guess we'll never know.
No, at this point, Jennings just got to nurse at home. He's got a little bit over 70, or a little bit under, 70 laps to go. So just a few more times around here, but that is a tall order. We've seen it can step out at any time and catch you off guard. Got to maintain focus all the way through. Otherwise, you could end up, in a bad predicament with a lap down car or something like that. So got to keep your head on a swivel and just run your race. And so far, Jennings has done just that. As we see, we're still riding along with the 45, trying to catch up to Scott Bailey, who's right in front of him now, 3.2 seconds.
And yeah, you've watched this gap be chased down. throw, you're going to see Andrew St. Cyr pass Scout Bailey, not for position, but to unlap himself from Scout Bailey. And Kevin Powell out there as well. Actually, had a passer position for third. This entire kind of gaggle of cars. Of course, just past Powell. See how of a pass was done. This very congested part of the racetrack, or racetrack in general. And here's how Bailey made the move on Powell for position for third. And then St. Cyr got involved following that.
Yeah, so the 93 lets the 11 go right there. 12's coming with a big head of steam. Off the turn, gets a big run. Had to let off a little bit in the turn.
I think he maybe caught the...
Full send from the 12.
Near contact between himself and Powell.
Yeah, Powell got the wall right there as well.
We're going to come back to a replay here. How Andrew St. Cyr gets by Scout Bailey. Not live. This is a replay. And Sutsman's loose in front. St. Cyr takes it pretty wide. Trying to pass Scout Bailey. Absolutely sends.
Almost got the wall, or he did get the wall.
Then they go side by side through the corner. No one lifts. They both lift. They both survive. Kevin Powell is now pitted. Now Byers closes the gap. He nearly hits the rear end of St. Cyr. And he applies the power once again. And that battle is continuing on. Kevin Powell has pitted.
And Powell's pitted. Villalobos now catching the 11 car on track. That is for position.
Kevin Powell's pit time. 5. Finds himself down in the 7th position. And we're kind of in a little grab bag of strategies. Oh, no! Doug Solms catches the wall there. Little bit of damage there, trying to give the spot up to Kevin Powell. But Powell will unlap himself, put himself 2 laps down to his brother. And Jonathan Jennings leads. He has a lap over Jacob Reeves. Jacob Reeves has a 5.7 second advantage over Julio Villalobos. Villalobos has a 1 second advantage over Scott Bailey. Scott Bailey's got a 27.5 second advantage over Andrew St. Cyr. Byers is just overtaken Andrew St. Cyr, so that's that. There was a pass there. Yeah, we will probably have to go back and see what happened there. Oh boy. So here we go. St. Cyr, he's gotten to the part of the run where he starts to struggle a little bit. And this is coming down into turn 1. It doesn't turn. It's almost as if he forgot to turn or he got a flat tire.
Yeah, just...
He pits following that. So...
maybe just overdrove the turn, I'm not sure.
But this potentially Andrew St. Cyr's final pit stop. Back to live. And he is staying in the box, so he might have sped. And race leader Jonathan Jennings is in for his final stop.
Yeah, he's in, getting his service done. The left sides are going on. 14.9. He's away.
And Scott Bailey is in. to cover off anything, but I think Andrew St. Cure might have sped. And he might have been out of right front tire, which might have led him to not be able to slow the car down.
Quite possibly. He's still in the pit.
Or this is damage. Or this might be day done.
That was a big hit, so. And there's still quite a bit of damage on that right front side of the car.
And if Andrew St. Cure calls this a day, he's down and away, so there was damage repairs. But it is now looking pretty grim for Andrew St. Cure to make the next round of the playoffs. We can't confirm Matt Rogers is not going to make the next round of the playoffs. Adam Gardner will not make the next round of the playoffs, and Devin Smith will not make the next round of the playoffs. Andrew St. Cure, he is very close to being in that same boat. It's not over. If something were to happen to Scott Bailey and Andrew St. Cure is able to get some spots, basically he just needs a lot of help if he's gonna make the next round of the playoffs. But it's looking pretty grim if you're rooting for Andrew St. Cure to make it into the next round of the playoffs. Jacob Reeves, Jeremiah Stutzman in the pit lane.
And these should be everyone's final stops right here. They can make it to the end on fuel. So this should be it. I think Julio Villalobos had made his final stop a little bit earlier. I don't think that he's going to have to stop again. So he should, or
he's probably going to. He's at 43 laps on his stint.
Yeah, he might want to go ahead and stop again.
Matthew Byers at 35, and we are waiting Doug Solms to pit. We're waiting Doug Solms, Matthew Byers, and Julio Villalobos to make their final stop. Byers actually might be good. Villalobos may be good, but he's probably going to stay out. But this is wild. With staying out, Villalobos still did not take the lead.
He is back on the lead lap, however.
No,
so that's a positive.
No,
so yeah, if we
huge.
get a yellow, this could be a big thing. Doug Solms is coming down pit road as we speak.
And Doug Solms, what a good run for him today. At the moment, in the 7th position, I believe Stutzman is going to pass. But still, the 8th. Not too shabby.
Can't finish anything worse than, I believe, 9th place now. Does look like Seth Fitzpatrick has called it a night. He is locked in. So with the toe link broken, he has decided to go ahead and call it a day. 67 is away with his stop.
Almost fires it off, and Andrew St. Cure is back in. This might be it.
Yeah, I think the damage and everything, he is not able to do what he needs to do. That hood is still very crinkled on the right side there, so he brings it back down. We'll see what happens when he puts it in the box.
Service will be done to the car. Andrew St. Cure, the more laps he loses, it might just be that.
I think at this point,
Solms is coming back in. Probably speeding penalty on exit.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. And Andrew St. Cure has left the session. And will eliminate himself from the playoffs. And so all 4 drivers who have entered today's race below the cut line, all 4 of them have eliminated themselves from the playoffs.
And Doug is now taking, I believe, a penalty here, so he's still on pit road. He looks to have secured at least an 8th place finish, but we take a look at the playoff points, and pretty much has been decided.
Yep.
The drivers in red, St. Coeur, Gardners, Devin Smith, and Matt Rogers are pretty much have been eliminated from contention. And the round of 8 is all but set. Seth Fitzpatrick, Jonathan Jennings, Seth Berger, Max Service, Adrian Schumacher, Jeremiah Stutzman, Jacob Reeves, and Scott Bailey have pretty much all secured it, with Andrew St. Coeur leaving. That was the last driver left that could have had a shot at it, but he has left the session and has pretty much guaranteed his spot, or his non-participation in the round of 8, and Scott Bailey securing his spot there on the bubble.
You know what, Devin? This race, we mentioned at the top of the show, right? Not only is this a test for the drivers, actually, driving the track well, but it's just also a mental game. And it's such a long race, 250 laps. Such a long, enduring race. Villalobos and Matthew Byers making their final stop. Byers actually on pit exit already. Villalobos making his final stop. But such an enduring race. And Andrew St. Coeur, he put up a good fight, but the length, the long runs specifically, dampening his day, and just the massive amounts of long runs and being on the short end of the stick today, I think is going to really hurt. Andrew St. Coeur, he had a good season for what it's worth. He probably would have been seated higher in the playoffs, coming into the playoffs, but he missed a lot of races due to work and personal reasons. And that's how it boils down. I think Andrew St. Coeur maybe was a driver who could have snuck his way into the round of 8 as it was, but not meant to be this season. That does do, however, is Scott Bailey no longer has to fight as hard. He just has to finish. And he'll be in. Jacob Reeves just has to finish. Jeremiah Stutzman just has to finish. And even if they don't, they are locked in, but just finish the race at that, is they are breathing easy for the most part.
Yeah, and I think at this point it's just a matter of, hey, I made it this far, might as well do the last, 41 laps here, or 42 laps. There's 41 just ticked over, but might as well finish it out. I've made it this far. This is a true test of endurance, and this one a very long, lengthy race. I believe this is a full-length race, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, Jonathan Jennings showing he was the class of the field pretty much all day long. Seth Berger and Seth Fitzpatrick were able to hang with him for quite a bit there, but again, Seth Berger had a pit road speeding penalty, and Seth Fitzpatrick got together with the 45, ended up hitting the wall, breaking the right front toe length, and both drivers have since decided to call it quits as they are locked in. And that's leaves us where we are now, where Jonathan Jennings is by himself on the lead lap. Kevin Powell sitting there in second, 1 lap down.
And with our playoff field going forward decided, and no real battles on the track, we're going to take one final pit stop TV side by side. We'll get ready for ourselves to gear you up and bring you the last 30 or so laps to the finish here from Darlington. Don't you go anywhere.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence. After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back, race fans, to the virtual Darlington Raceway. If you missed it, a round of 8 is all but decided. Looking at Andrew St. Coeur, Adam Gardner, Devin Smith, and Matt Rogers all eliminated from playoff competition, meaning the likes of Jonathan Jennings, Seth Fitzpatrick, Seth Berger, Max Service, and Adrian Schumacher, Jeremiah Stutzman, Scott Bailey, and Jacob Reeves are all set to make their round of 8 appearances, and we'll see them do battle starting next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Tonight's race, it's more or less a wash. Jonathan Jennings has a lap over the field, and he has been absolutely dominant this evening. It just seems how it always works out when we come through one of these. We always end up coming out of a side-by-side to a little bit of a battle, and one shaping up between Kevin Powell and Jacob Reeves for position number 2. They are both one lap down, but they are only 7/10 of a second between one another, and the final stops have been made for this evening's race. Let's join the battle that's brewing.
Yeah, the 93 is sitting at about 9 lap older tires than the 22 at the moment. So the 22 should have the advantage quite handily here when he does catch him. The 93, though, can make his car pretty wide. We've seen that you can block quite a bit here and maintain position, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it with the amount of time left. The 22, a big run off the turn, and looks like he's to the inside. I'm not sure the 93 is going to have much say in it.
Way down to the bottom.
Ooh.
And Reeves makes easy work of his teammates. Jacob Reeves clears to second. Jacob Reeves is starting to become slowly but certainly one of the quiet championship favorites, consistently finishing these races, putting together decent runs. Jacob Reeves might have something in the round of 8. And other than maybe Jennings, I don't know if there's any clear favorite on anyone making the championship 4. Certainly there's going to be people who are more likely to make it than others, just on the performances this season, but I can't rule out any of the 8 from not making it for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough battle in this next round. A lot of good races again coming up. Now, 3 very different tracks. You would think that normally, the mile and a half would act the same, but that's not the case anymore with the new Atlanta. So you got Homestead Miami, a traditional, kind of traditional mile and a half, where the top line seems to be king, but you can run the bottom line pretty handily in this car on the simulator. So That'll be an interesting one. Then Atlanta, which is the newly converted, repurposed Atlanta that acts like a miniature Daytona. And that's going to be pack racing. And then we head to, again, North Wilkesboro, short track racing to eliminate a round, very similar to the final round here in real life, where the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Martinsville here for a race in the playoffs. And after that, it's on to Richmond for the Outlaws Sim Series to close it out with the Championship 4. As we still riding along with the 93 here, what I'm keeping track of is the 45 of Villalobos. He can make up positions, and he is gaining quite rapidly on the drivers in front of him. He is currently sitting in 5th. 1 lap down. First car that has unlapped himself from 2 laps down. And he is catching Scott Bailey, Kevin Powell, and Jacob Reeves quite handily. Does he have enough time to get up to them and make the pass is the big question that I'm on, as he does have the freshest tires out of any of those drivers.
And I do agree. Julio Villalobos definitely is poised to make a run up through the top 5 at the current tire and current tires he has and the rate of pace he's setting. I do want to, of course, do one more shout out to the cars running Adam Strong on their hood. And Adam Strong, Adam Looney, who one of the family members to our race controller here for the Outlaws Sim Series in in Daniel, who does a great job. Daniel, of course, he's came in and stepped in after Adam had to kind of go through some race controllers the past couple seasons. Daniel's come in and stepped in for a good portion of this season. Adam Looney was a soccer coach at a high school, and he passed away due to his fight against a rare form of cancer. According to someone close to the matter, he leaves behind a wife, an 8-month-old son. He was diagnosed with neuroendocrine tumors in his spine and liver in January 2019, and was battling this form of cancer for over 3 years. GoFundMe was set up to help Looney and his wife Jordan, who is the color guard instructor at the same high school, pay for all the medical expenses. And as of October 13th, $11,000 have been raised for the Looney family. And again, Adam Gardner brought this up to me. Kevin Powell's running a scheme with Adam Strong on it. A huge shout out to them. I'll be working on putting the GoFundMe link in our chats if you do wish to support this cause. And again, shout out to Powell and Gardner and anyone else who's running Adam Strong on their cars this evening. Coming around to 20 laps to go is Jonathan Jennings. And here he is coming off of turn 4. 20 laps to go this time by. That is how much time Julio Villalobos has to try to stir up a good run. And we'll go on board with Villalobos again as he tries to close these gaps down.
Yeah, he's trying to get all he can there. He does have was a Matthew Byer, I believe, between him and Scott Bailey. That's the car in front of him is Byer. And then right up in front of him, you can see in the center of the turn, now coming off of turn number 2 there is Scott Bailey. You can see just the closing rate that the 45 has. He's catching these guys very rapidly. Then right up in front of Scott Bailey is Kevin Powell, and then Jacob Reeves just a little bit further up the track than that. So this battle's going to heat up quite rapidly here in the last 20 laps. Maybe he won't catch Jacob Reeves. Jacob Reeves may hold on to second, but it's definitely a good battle here for the final podium position that could be shaping up if 45 can get there.
Yeah, and we've been seeing this. Villalobos has, kind of what it takes to do this. He's making this run, and I see someone's actually out in chat rooting for him in Curiel Racing, Full Throttle 45. He is on it, trying to make that run. And McMahon, one of the drivers in the series. Oh, sideways is Villalobos. Man, one of the drivers in this series not running tonight, but he's saying those last chance boys are looking good tonight. I'm about to post this GoFundMe link in the chat. It is now up to $20,289. But if you wish to help out, guys, that is in the chat right now. And 1.1 seconds, the gap between Villalobos and Bailey.
And the car in front of him, Byers, has a little step out there off of turn number 2. A little bit time lost there from Julio in turn coming off of turn number 2. He's got to deal with some dirty air now behind the 94 car. Needs to clear him quickly so he can start catching up to these guys for position.
I see Trey Patton now is out in the chat. I don't know if he's still here. I hope he is. Trey Patton out in the Pit Stop TV YouTube chat. Brendan Kennedy out here as well. Here every week. A huge supporter. Appreciate you, Brendan. Join us. And Villalobos, you heard him. He was fighting with the car there through the center of 3 and 4.
Oh, and then that was Kevin Powell who stepped out off of turn 4 right in front of us here. So this is a 3-way battle for third place,
yes,
all right here together. Again, Powell on 48 lap old tires, Scott Bailey on 41 lap old tires, and then Julio Villalobos on 29 lap old tires. So some aging tires here. Again, Villalobos has the youngest of these tires, but we'll get back here. Ooh, a little step out from Scott Bailey.
Here we go, boys. A 3-way battle for the third position. Owl heads it. Bailey in the middle car, and Villalobos trying to make it. Are they going to go 3? Double wide down the back straight up. Powell lets them both through, and it's now Villalobos left to fight with Scott Bailey.
I think the 93's tires just gave up on him there. He wasn't getting any power off the turn. These guys just blew by him.
So here we go. Scott Bailey holding station, but for how much longer? Julio Villalobos looking to make this pass. He's got the tires on his side. He's got time, but don't put it in the wall because the wall is not on your side. A huge run for the 45. Julio Villalobos sizing up Scott Bailey. Nose to tail and heading into turn 1.
I was going to say, you think if we might see one of those Kyle Larson lines here so we get closer to the end of the run, you could run that wall around on the last lap. Destroys the car, but you can pick up a lot of time. I don't know if you want to do it this early, though. It could really destroy that the steering in the cars. So something to look out for, though. We've seen it before in real life. Kyle Larson full sending it around 3 and 4 one time a couple years ago, trying to catch Denny Hamlin.
Oh, big run there for Villalobos. All this is happening. Jacob Reeves now has opened up his gap to 4.2 seconds. I don't believe Jacob Reeves is any longer at risk from Villalobos, but Villalobos is putting it all on the line to try to get past Scott Bailey.
He backed up a little early in that turn 3, trying to get a big run and set it up. Did not happen the way he wanted to. Let's see what he does here in turns 1 and 2.
He's got the run. And he'll clear through. Third position, Julio Villalobos. He set that up beautifully. He patiently waited. He set his strategy up, and Villalobos now on the podium. Julio Villalobos Jr. from out of Mexico on up to third, and has maybe, he might have a go. It's 4 seconds back, but he does have fresher tires, so I wouldn't count it out, but he might have a go at Jacob Reeves.
Yeah, about 10 lap fresher tires than Reeves. Reeves a 4-second lead, though. You can see it declining, but yeah, it's down under 4 now. So 7 laps. He's really got to put some times in now. I don't know if he's going to be able to to knock off about a little under a second a lap. He's got to be about 7/10, 8/10 a lap, knocking off to be able to catch him and have enough time to pass him.
Absolutely, and Jacob Reeves extends the gap down the back straightaway. 3.8 seconds there at the center of the corner. And for what it's worth, Villalobos also might have used up all his stuff trying to pass Scott Bailey.
Yeah, it looks like the time's kind of stabilized a little bit here.
2/10 in the favor of Villalobos, but 2/10 at a lap is not going to be enough. .7 seconds, that gap. Meanwhile, Scott Bailey, he's not lost sight of Villalobos. He doesn't have the run or really that front end smashed in, so doesn't really have the car at the moment or the tires. But if Villalobos makes a mistake, Scott Bailey is close behind.
Yeah, he is. He's right there. So, and Villalobos has tapped the wall quite a few times in the last few laps. That rear end of the car looking happy again off of turn number 2. So, anything can happen. Yeah, it's just holding on to what you got here for Scott Bailey. He knows that he is safe now. Just 4 laps to go before he can lock it into the end. And pretty much guarantee. I mean, he's almost guaranteed. He is, for the most part, guaranteed to spot in the round of 8. But just to finish this race with how tough it is and all the cars that it's claimed so far, over half the field, it's an accomplishment in its own.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, just finish it. Oh, sideways is Villalobos there, and then again, it's not over. For these guys, he's given it his all for sure. But, my goodness. Entering turn 1, 3 laps to go for Jonathan Jennings. In what's been a very dominant race for the 91 machine. Has 185 laps led. Albeit a lot of those, Seth Berger took some, and then a lot more on pit cycles. Jonathan Jennings has stapled his name. One staple, and pretty soon, if he takes the white flag, it doesn't even matter. Because if he takes the white flag, he's gonna win this race.
Yeah, it's coming around to it now. On the back stretch for the next to last time.
Penultimate sign through turns 3 and 4. And the white flag is waving and in the air for Jonathan Jennings. 1 lap to go, presented by Whiplash Media Sim Cams. 1 lap. So this race is over. Julio Villalobos has closed his gap down to 3 seconds between himself and Jacob Reeves, but it won't be enough at this current rate. But to talk about something special, Jonathan Jennings, he's emerged as one of the favorites for the championship because he is for the 5th time this season going to win. And tonight it's at Darlington. 250 laps, the big one, to the favor of Jonathan Jennings and the first driver to hit 5 wins on the season.
Yeah, massive run for Jonathan Jennings, putting a staple out there for the next round of the playoffs. Show that he is in form, he is ready to go, and he has emerged as a favorite for the championship heading in for these next 4 races.
Jacob Reeves does finish second, 2.9 seconds ahead of Julio Villalobos. Scott Bailey third. Villalobos third, Scott Bailey fourth, Kevin Powell fifth, Fire, Stutzman, and Solms, the rest of the finishers.
We see the 91 there burning it down, getting everything out of those tires. They've had a workout tonight. A lot of guys really using up those rear tires as you see here. Him and his
Yep.
brother gonna get nose to nose.
That's awesome. And well deserved. I mean, they are. This is one of the longer celebrations I've seen from Jennings.
There went the engine.
Oh yeah, the engines. Yep. Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
And there it goes. And I think well deserved celebration for Jonathan Jennings. And John, you dominated today. 188 laps led. I know it got a little bit easier when Seth Berger sped and Fitzpatrick caught the wall. Win by a margin of a lap though. That is something.
Man, I wish Seth, neither one of them would have got taken out. It was shaping up to be a good finish.
Nonetheless, it was a dominant and a great drive from you. What is it about Darlington that just kind of suited you tonight?
It's my home track, so I try extra hard here to do good, and it's paid off so far. I'm 4 for 4 here in league racing, so got to keep it going.
4 for 4 sounds like 100%. It sounds like a good percentage to keep up here at the track that's dubbed as Too Tough to Tame. Jonathan Jennings is the one to tame it this evening, and I don't know how much you look into things, but there was a 4-5 driver, I think it was 4 driver tie with 4 wins on the season, and you were the first to break through and get your 5th on the season. And with the round of 8 coming up next week, how are you feeling now with the season shaping up? The first one to hit 5 wins and your chances in a round of 8.
I would be more comfortable if new Atlanta wasn't in there. I wish it was old Atlanta, but I don't know. I try to do good at Homestead and go into Atlanta for a little bit more comfort, but it's not going to be a whole lot.
Well, that is the one curveball in the round of 8, but certainly you are still looking pretty good, and I'm imagining all eyes to Homestead and North Wilkesboro to kind of solidify and control your races there. But Jonathan, congratulations on the dominant drive today. The first driver to 5 wins on the season. Well deserved, and best luck to you in the round of 8.
Thank you.
And that is driver of the number 91, Jonathan Jennings. And wow, what a race. We will get to more interviews here in a second. But we do have our race results to hit up tonight, Devin. And let's go through them. How about it? Oh, we do have the numbers. We were uncertain if we're going to have the numbers on the results tab. But it's a beautifully designed new results tab by Andrew Cardinale IV. Doing some amazing work as always. But of course, you see it there. Jonathan Jennings with the race victory over Jacob Reeves. Julio Villalobos in 3rd. Scott Bailey 4th. Kevin Powell in 5th. 2nd through 5th, all 1 lap down. Matthew Byers finishes out in 6th, 2 laps down. Stutzman finishes 7th, 4 laps down. Doug Solms 8th, 8 laps down. Andrew St. Cyr finishes in 9th, but it will not be enough. He will be eliminated from playoff competition this evening, 54 laps down. Seth Fitzpatrick called it a 10th position, 88 laps down.
Yeah, and then the rest of Heartbreaks Row. 11th, Seth Berger caught speeding. Decided to call it quits early as he's locked in, 126 laps down. Randall Barnett, 154 laps down at 12th. Adam Gardner, unfortunately, will not move on in the playoffs. He had issues early on, 197 laps down in 13th. The same for Devin Smith, 199 laps down in 14th. Adrian Schumacher got wrecked on lap 1, lost the toe link, and just did what he needed to do to make sure he was secured. Finished 15th, 203 laps down. Tyler Markle also had issues with the tires at the end of one of the runs, and it collected the wall. He finishes 210 laps down in 16th. Matthew Setzer, 234 laps down in 17th. Max Service, one of the other 4-time winners, had some issues in this race. He got spun around and then lost the engine very early on in the race. He is 236 laps down in 18th. Matt Rogers, the driver who had max service, lost his engine as well, 236 lap down in 19th. And then Eric Peck did not take the green flag.
So there it is, the 19 drivers that started this evening's race, and boy, was it a wild one in terms of endurance and all that jazz. We're not done yet here from the Darlington Raceway. We'll be right back, but we're going to take a step aside, and we'll be right back with more post-race coverage from the Lady in Black.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence. After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Darlington Raceway. We're now into post-race coverage of this evening's Elimination Wednesday. We eliminated Andrew St. Cyr, Adam Gardner, Devin Smith, and Matt Rogers from playoff competition this evening. But there is a lot more in this race. There is, of course, the race at stake, and one of the drivers who did make it into the round of 8 and had a good little race today, but came up about a lap short was Jacob Reeves. I've been standing by for our second place finisher.
Hey, we bring up Jacob Reeves, who finished second place tonight. Jacob, you are emerging as one of the most consistent drivers in the league, not to mention starting off the season as one of the sentimental favorites. You head to the round of 8 and another tough round ahead. Tell us about your race tonight and what you're looking forward to in the next round.
Well, we had a lot of practice this week with Last Chance Racing. We've done about 500 laps of practice over the past 5 days. We was really pushing to have a good run tonight. We knew the points was going to be kind of close, and I told Jonathan and them, I said, if I get to the round 8, I said I'm gonna be tickled to death, because at that point, we know we got a shot. We know we got a shot. I mean, going in this season, I wanted to win a race, and I wanted to at least make the playoffs. And I got one of them so far. I'm coming close, every single week to that win, but the win wasn't the number one deal tonight. The main thing was just to try to get stage points and try to maximize ourselves over that cut line. And we we did it, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be doing this. I'm blessed to drive his car. You know, thanks to Race EPI for all they do with the setups, and congratulations, Jonathan, on the win.
Yeah, you're so close to getting the win. We've seen it a couple times where you've been very close to getting that first. Sorry about that, but we've seen very close to getting that first win. And man, it's just the consistency that we've seen out of the 22 all season long for the most part that's got you here. As we go into the next round, you know, it's three fairly different tracks. You got a normal 1.5, the new super speedway in Atlanta, and then a short track in North Wilkesboro. Kind of walk us through what where your head's at going into that next round.
Homestead ain't necessarily just a normal mile and a half to me personally. I raced there in officials a good bit last week to get our car dialed in and try to get it lined up. And we had some good finishes in the official races. You know, Homestead's kind of like Darlington. Track's, you know, real slick, beat up. It's old, wore out over the years of everything. You know, over the years of racing and everything. And New Atlanta, that's the ultimate wild card. I think that's what's probably got everybody they basically got their calendar circled on that day. And then North Wilkesboro, just a lot of history and tradition at North Wilkesboro. And it's a short track, and I've done pretty good at short tracks. But I think, I don't know how far we are back from fourth, but I've got a feeling it's probably going to be Hail Marys from here on out, just to see if we can luck up and get that win and get ourselves in the championship 4. And it'd be awesome being championship 4, but right now we're going to savor our second place finish tonight here at Darlington, and we're going to be really happy to move on to the round of 8.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, just get a win and you're into the championship 4, and you've been so close. I think you got it coming. Great racing tonight. We look forward to seeing what you can do in the next round. But yeah, you got to was it oh sorry, yeah, you already shout out EPI there, so we'll let you get back to the celebration, and we appreciate you coming up here.
I appreciate it, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Sure, that is driver of the number 22, our second place finisher this evening in Jacob Reeves. And we want to bring on up third place finisher, and I've been waiting to interview Julio Villalobos for a minute. Julio, you are such an exciting driver to watch, a lot of fun to watch, and you had a great run there in the end. What was it like there in the last laps to go from 5th to 3rd?
Yeah, I think I hit up too much tires and I can catch the second place, but the strategy was to finish in second place. I had the car to finish in second place.
Certainly it did look like it. Look, maybe timing, and you're right, you said maybe you heated up the tires a little bit, but still, third place in your return is not bad at all. A pretty good finish. Now talk about your paint scheme, your throwback paint to the car you drove in real life.
Yeah, it was a car that I drove in real life. I think it was the year that we doesn't have NASCAR Mexico here, and they opened a serial for that cars that was Super Copa. It was in circuit.
That's awesome. Huge. And again, you posted a picture in the Discord that the car in real life looks beautiful. The paint scheme I fell in love with tonight. You were a lot of fun to watch. You kept this race very entertaining, Julio. And yeah, you even led 19 laps. Looked like a pretty good race. I know you're on a part-time schedule, so what are you looking forward, maybe before this season's over, if there's any races you like to join? Or is this your last one for the season?
No, I will try to join as much as I can and try to grab a win.
There you go. Again, Julio, a lot of fun to watch you. Congratulations on the third place finish. Great job today, and best luck to you in next time you join us.
Thank you very much.
That is driver of the number 45, Julio Villalobos, and again, that's a great kid. I know he's a little aggressive on the track, but great kid, nice guy. and I haven't interviewed him in such a long time. That felt good. And you heard him there. He's trying to go for more wins, so maybe we'll interview him some more in the coming races. But Devin, you have a driver who was pretty stressed about the race the whole time. There's a point in today's race where he was outside the cut line tonight, Devin, but he ends up finishing 4th, and he's into the round of 8.
Yeah, we bring up Scott Bailey, who has secured his spot in the round of 8 with a great drive tonight. It looked a little perilous there at the end of stage 1, but you were able to secure it with great long run speed over your rival, the 12 car of Andrew St. Cyr. Kind of walk us through the race and where your head was at after stage 1 and going in and getting past him for stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the team put together a really good long run car. So stage 1, I hurt myself. We were coming through the field there with the 81. And he just kind of wasn't rolling the center of the corner very well, I don't think. And I got into him a little bit, and I definitely take blame. If I'm trying to pass somebody, I need to pass them clean. So I got into him a little bit. It didn't give us any damage. I feel really bad for the 81, but it did put us at the end of the longest line for the restart. So I knew I had to kind of push to get up close to the 12 and salvage as many stage points as I could. So we did that, and then I kind of went off sequence from the team as far as pit strategy because I wanted to follow the 12. I knew long run speed, I had better speed than him, so I just kind of followed him in. So we were on kind of equal tires coming to the end of the second stage, and I was able to get by him before the end of the second stage. So from there, it was just kind of lock in and just not overdrive it.
Well, now that you have secured that spot with the run tonight, the next round doesn't get any easier. So kind of walks through where your head's at going into, of course, Homestead, Miami, another slippery track, and then Atlanta and North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, Homestead, honestly, it reminds me a lot of Darlington as far as how these cars handle there. So hoping, as a team, I think we can put together another good long run speed car. But Atlanta is kind of the wild card in this round. It's Talladega with half the lane, so it's tighter racing. Definitely teamwork comes into it, but I know my team's not gonna lay over for me either, because everybody's trying to get to that final round. So it'll be interesting. I think Atlanta's obviously the wild card, so that's the best shot to win. But I think just not making big mistakes, I might have a chance.
Yeah, definitely a chance there. A chance at Atlanta being the wild card, and then it's as far as this season has gone, consistency's been the key, and the 11 car we've seen has been up towards the front for most every single race. Just kind of walk us through your preparation, as we go into the next round of just that maintaining that consistency. That it's something we don't see in a lot of drivers. Some drivers are kind of just good at some tracks and not good at other tracks, but this 11 car has been good pretty much everywhere. Kind of walk us through your preparation of what it means to be consistent.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is just getting laps. I mean, I think Darlington, I probably put 500-600 laps in before Sunday, because then I was going to be out of town the rest of the week until today. So just getting comfort with these cars. Obviously handling is an issue almost everywhere. So understanding, we practice with a very worn track, during practice to get us used to what it's going to be mid-race. And I think that's been the biggest key, is just understanding what the car's going to do throughout the race.
And we appreciate the insight there to being consistent at worn track. Definitely something that a lot of people don't know about. They just hop in those sessions. But that worn track definitely helps out a lot to know how the car is going to be later on. But we appreciate it. Congrats on getting to the round of 8 tonight. And we'll let you get back down and celebrate with your team, making it to the next round.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
And that was 4th place finisher, driver of the number 11. And we'll go ahead and one more interview tonight since he's there. And it was a hard fought race at that. Jeremiah, you fought it out coming home with the 7th place finish this evening, but you toughed it out. You made yourself into the round of 8. You got yourself 4 laps led. Tough race. What were the challenges of tonight's race?
The racetrack.
Fair enough.
I knew I wasn't going to be good here, so I tried the only thing I knew I could do. Tried that. Made it where I had to race the track because I wasn't really racing nobody else. So it all worked out as I planned it. Unfortunately, I wasn't very good, but that's about all I expected.
Nonetheless, it was a very it was an enduring race, 150 laps on a very tough racetrack. Saw a lot of drivers fall out of the race. You ended up finishing 7th just by virtue of making it to the end. With that great note to hit yourself up into the round of 8. You have Homestead, then the new Atlanta and North Wilkesboro coming up. What are you looking for in the round of 8 that's going to potentially propel you into the round of 4?
Hopefully getting it done in the first 2 races. Because I'm not very good at the short tracks and definitely not looking forward to it.
There you go. All right. Looking forward to what's coming up then for Jeremiah Stutzman. Again, one of the drivers with 3 wins on the season and going to get a nice little reset for the final time here in the playoffs. Best luck to you in the next round here, Jeremiah, and congratulations on just finishing it out tonight.
Thank you. Good job up there as always, guys.
We appreciate that, Jeremiah. And that'll do it for the drivers part of the show this evening, Devin. But once again, we can take a look at our point standings and kind of just put the cherry on top of the bow tie on everyone bringing or everyone moving on into the next round of the playoffs. We can look at it. Seth Fitzpatrick with his win at USA International. He locked himself in and was very much just working the way through Talladega, and tonight didn't have to do too much more than that. Jonathan Jennings, of course, won tonight, but he was already locked in coming into tonight's race. Seth Berger locked in with his stage 1 victory. Did speed on pit road, but he should be plenty fine tonight since he finished above his magic number to advance. Max Service had a little bit of issue early on, was the only caution of the evening, then had the engine absolutely obliterated by the 96 car. He'll still end up advancing by a decent little margin. Adrian Schumacher also fought back from a lap 1 incident to hopefully advance himself into the next round of playoffs. And it looked like it worked mathematically. Jeremiah Stutzman finished it out. He should be good. Reeves and Bailey, of course, they also just finished out the race because Andrew Sink, poor Adam Gardner, Devin Smith, and Matt Rogers, they all fell out of the race this evening, and they were all below the cut line coming in, and it's just as simple as that. So we have our 8 drivers moving on, our 4 eliminated. Devin, go ahead and put a bow tie on what you took from tonight's race.
Consistency is key. The guys who finished up front were just consistent throughout the runs. They didn't make mistakes. I mean, sure, we tapped some walls a little bit, but that's Darlington. You're going to get that little Darlington stripe. Even the best drivers will get it. So just maintaining the consistency, not making the self-inflicted mistakes, that's what's going to get you this championship. And that's what helped a lot of these drivers secure their spot in the round of 8. Yeah, that's what I look for going. That's what I look for going forward is consistency. And right now, Jonathan Jennings and Jacob Reeves have proved to be some of the most consistent drivers out there, along with Scott Bailey. So if they can maintain their dominance with consistency, then they will they'll have no problem getting to the final round there. But don't count out any of the Swift Racing guys either. They're very strong week in and week out, as long as they can limit mistakes.
Absolutely, because this is going to be key, and this is going to be the hardest round yet, because there's not any one of those 8 drivers that I can confidently eliminate from making the round of 4 just before we even get into the round. All of these drivers very much have their shot. They performed well this season, obviously make to this point, and it's going to be a very intriguing next 3 weeks to figure out who makes it into the final, into the championship 4 at Richmond. And wow, Devin, it was great to have you on for tonight. That'll do it for tonight, but we do have more coming up here on the channel Sunday, we have the Sim Pit. They're tackling the Daytona Road Course with GTE vehicles. It has been an absolute blast to cover the select races I have. And the Sim Pit GTE series is a lot of fun. You won't want to miss out on what happens there, but we'll be sticking in Florida for the week because we'll be heading down to the Homestead Miami Speedway for next Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Outlaws Sim Series begins their round of 8, and we begin to find who will be the 4 drivers advancing to the Championship 4. And then the following Sunday, we'll have the Sim Pit GTE cars tackling the Monza Grand Prix circuit. They're at 1:30 p.m. Eastern as well. You won't want to miss it. 3 great venues, Devin. 3 great shows coming up.
Yeah, 3 great shows. Those GT cars are very fun to watch, especially at the tracks they're going to be tackling. The Daytona Road Course, a very fun track to drive, as well as Monza, one of the fastest tracks in the world as far as road courses are concerned. So the Temple of Speed, the nickname for Monza. So look forward to those, and then of course the first race of the final round, before we get to the championship of the Outlaw Sim Series. So don't want to miss that one, as these guys take on Homestead and see who can put their best foot forward and possibly go ahead and lock themselves into the championship 4.
Absolutely. We could potentially know who could be competing, one of the 4 drivers competing for a championship in 1 week's time, but we'll just have to find out if that is the case. Quickly, just want to give a shout out to our social media outlets. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/pitstoptv, our Instagram at pit_stop_tv, our Twitter at pitstoptv_. We're live on Twitch tonight at twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, and our YouTube channel this evening, youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1. Like, follow, subscribe on those channels at social media outlets. That would be great support here for Pit Stop TV. And I guess that's gonna do it this evening. A shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV once again, Whiplash Media Sim Cams. And if you enjoyed the amazing views from the broadcast this evening, you can go to www.pitstoptv.com/whiplash and check out how you can get your own Whiplash Media Sim Cam pack. Simrat Market, they make a plethora of base paint schemes that you can buy and edit yourselves for a bunch of cars on the iRacing.com motorsport simulation platform. So if you don't have the time to paint a car, or you think you don't have the creativity, or you just want a new look for your car on iRacing, head over to simratmarket.com, see what they got for you, and use code PSTV at checkout for 10% off of your order at simratmarket.com. And of course, permanent makeup and cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy, and you can contact them at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. But that's gonna do it for Darlington. We're glad you could join us for Elimination Wednesday here for the Outlaw Sim Series, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage. For all on Pit Stop TV, Devin Zimmerman joining me on the call this evening, and everyone else behind the scenes, I am Emerson Arden. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.